Recording. Okay, we are now live for what it's worth. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's good to be back. After, I think it's at least been 3 years since we last had you guys on the show. Good to have both of you back. Some of the most charming and lovely people I've had on the show, making some of the most charming and energetic music in the scene. For me, it's currently 6:25 p.m. over in Phoenix, Arizona. I do believe for the both of you, is it the same time?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
the time zone fluctuations are always so odd. You know what I mean? But simply said, today, going full circle, kind of thinking back upon the content of the first podcast and with a guest, really, brand new guest. This is my younger sister. This is Elaine. This is her first time being on the show. Wanted to get her involved into the experience at some point. So now she can be YouTuber famous, start her own YouTube channel or something like that. Who knows? Who knows? The future is like the options are there now.
Mm-hmm.
So today our main goal will be to listen to the entirety of Lucrecia's new album or new EP, Meyneth. Basically a long time coming. This is consisting of a lot of songs that we've listened to over the course of the last 3 years, just kind of shadowing them and their journey. We'll be listening to this EP, reminiscing and all that. We'll be jumping back into Franki and Suki's story after that, and then we'll be going under the skin of Meyneth. But needless to say, I hope you both are doing well. How are we feeling tonight?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Of course.
Not too bad.
Good. And needless to say as well, Yokoso, welcome back. Welcome back to the Anatomy Podcast.
Thanks for having us again.
Of course. So now we are going to do one of the coolest new things here on the podcast on this side of the the internet. I don't know.
Doing great.
Yeah.
Proud of you.
It's getting hot in here.
Yeah, I can only imagine how hot it is in Arizona.
Dude, oh my God, it is hell. But we're doing our best here. So, let's see. Do you guys have an EP stream on your YouTube channel or anything yet?
Oh, we should. I'm pretty sure because we upload it through distros, so it usually has a topic thing.
It's it says topic.
Oh right.
It's
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's if you're just going through the regular one. But I think it's also if you are you just using regular old YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the best way then. Yeah.
It's on the music as well.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, there definitely is a source over on Spotify as well. So most likely just to kind of not deal with any ads because I don't exactly have YouTube Premium yet. We'll go ahead and jump over to Spotify instead.
Yeah.
Spotify gang.
Spotify Premium for at least the last 7 years. Shout out to Riley for giving me a Spotify Premium to leech off of.
Yeah.
But
we did it for a while too.
Yeah. How long have you guys been working with the Spotify platform then? Do you guys remember when it first got started or?
For Lucrecia, the band, or just when we started
just in general.
Spotify?
Just in general.
I think when I first started using Spotify, I think it was 2013 or 2014, I think.
Yeah,
and then I remember there was some rap albums that I wanted to listen to that you couldn't really find on YouTube.
Gotcha.
Because the record label that had the rights to it just didn't have them up there. So the only way you could get them at the time was through Spotify. So I made a free account and stuff like that. And then I forgot if it was T-Mobile or some company that I used, and it giving me a premium account for free. So I'm just all right, just keep rocking it.
The early stages for sure. When they were yo, we need more customers, we need more investors. So let's get as many people free accounts as possible.
Who knew it was gonna be this prevalent?
Right. Let's see. So first step, I think, will be just making sure that you guys can hear the EP on your end as well.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and test that real quick. Can we hear it?
Faintly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty quiet on our.
Hear it,
I'm not gonna lie. We're using my laptop and the speakers on it are kind of trash.
Right. Fair enough.
You guys are pretty clear.
Yeah. They put the speakers on the bottom of the laptop, underneath it.
Very, very poor.
So, when you're using it, it's sitting down. the speakers are being obstructed.
Yeah, it's a really poor
Oh.
design, not
Yeah.
very good design
It's
at
like
all.
There's a
literally
natural
underneath.
little muffler going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Luckily, we have it propped up, so it's got some sound. We can hear you guys pretty clear, but yeah, the
I don't
music
know
was just
why
a
they
little
made it like that. Honestly,
again bad design.
I
agree.
don't watch anything on it because it's so terrible.
Some guy was.
I'll just use my Samsung tablet over. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, sometimes tablets and the newer tablet models, like it kind of surprised me. On a different note, when this iPad has like speakers on both the top and the bottom, like it actually sounds pretty good. Like using it on a road trip when I wasn't using my car speakers or something,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it actually worked pretty well.
I used to carry around a speaker that plugs directly into your phone.
Oh, I remember those things.
Because
remember
my
those.
sound, my whole stereo was broken.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I've done some things. That's like so boring, just sometimes I like I like listening to the sound of the road.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah,
and
that's
I
fair.
like thinking. I just like kind of having that calm. It's kind of like your me time kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, sometimes
I go
you gotta
back and forth.
unplug.
Yeah.
Well, quick shout out to Gamerceps, even though I'm not sponsored by them by any means necessary.
Looks pretty steezy.
They're not gonna sponsor you.
No, they're not. But
Give
that's
her
okay.
a little treat. Give her a milk bone treat. My dog.
Right.
I do have a very special car.
Ooh, tell us about the special car.
Well, only probably like super either anime nerds or like Japanese car nerds will know, but I have the car from usually I say initial D first because if I say anything else they might not know. But initial D is like this anime based off of the guy who invented drifting, pretty much. Like it's like the car that invented drifting.
Ooh,
from the
okay.
80s.
That's really cool.
So it was like just a random Toyota Corolla that no one thought was any special at all, but they didn't know that the way that they designed the car was so perfect for drifting because the guy who invented it, they of course was running all this like numbers and stuff, and they're like, oh, this car is actually accidentally built perfect for the weight distribution and everything about it was made almost like it was supposed to make this happen. But yeah, people mostly know it from the anime Initial D, but it also it's also a famous car because it invented actual thing, literally drifting. So
and so do you have this vehicle or are you looking to acquire this vehicle?
I bought this car 10 years ago.
Okay, cool.
Or maybe 12 years ago.
Was it your first?
Yeah. It was my dream car. I bought it as soon as I could.
Not many people can say that they had their dream car for their first car, so I'm sure you.
Well, was it too crazy expensive? To be honest, it was like $3,500. So for a dream car, that's kind of cheap, but it's really rare.
It's
That's worth a lot more now.
I got lucky in general with that car, but yeah, people offer me they see me with that car, they 10 G's easily, and it's a 1986 Toyota Corolla. It's old, it's not it's all stock, it's all
that's
nothing,
impressive.
no turbo, nothing like that. People want it more because of that reason.
That's sick. Hell
but
yeah,
that's my baby. It's my precious.
Fucking real life Meyneth rolling around here. That's her noble steed just drifting around the corner with the giant fucking demon slayer sword, just swung right out the window too.
I used to drive that car out of a parking lot, my college parking lot, barely giving it any gas, and I remember this one time I literally accidentally drifted, just turning left. I was just coming out of the college parking lot, and I was like, oh, I was like, oh no, they're gonna think I'm freaking just being dangerous, it's showing off. I was like, no, it's just so easy. It's so light. This car is so light, and it's rear wheel drive. I barely put any torque in this thing, man. But yeah, that was really funny. I was so embarrassed though. I was really embarrassed.
But then you learn, I'm sure, how to utilize that thing as your noble steed. And like I said,
it's so
I just picture like, you know, Guts with his giant, just freaking broadsword. And not only are you doing a little Tokyo drift for the fun of it to show off, to flex to the homies, but then on top of that, you have Guts's freaking Dragon Slayer broadsword just poking out the side.
Yeah, just like chopping everybody up.
Dude, if Meyneth,
you could definitely do that.
Yeah, if Meyneth had a Smash Bros. Ultimate like outro, like when she wins the battle, that would be it.
I can see that.
It would be the Dragon Slayer sword, just like whack.
Oh, easily. I did like donuts around my friend's car so easily. It was like butter.
It was like butter.
Like it feels like you're ice skating almost.
That's sick. But
really... yeah, it's definitely like a very unique. Like anytime I took people in that car, they can feel like, oh, this is kind of like a very special little. The scientists went kind of accidentally crazy on this one, but yeah, yeah, it's my baby. I love it. I'll never sell it. I'll never sell. Sorry, I told everybody like I might want to be buried in it. Fair. So I don't know how that's gonna work.
That's gonna be a big grave. It's gonna be a big.
I don't want to litter the ocean, but we gotta figure something out. Okay, we gotta like.
Just drive
like, whatever I gotta do. Maybe like in a mountainside, cut a little hole out, a little tomb.
You had me at a mountainside. I'm thinking you're trying.
You know, a little nice tomb, kind of like Egyptian style, but on the side of a mountain.
The JPEG of an explosion.
American style, Californian style.
Hell yeah.
On the side of Mount Shasta, where I was born.
Mount Shasta.
Yeah, that's the mountain that's like huge and like all the water comes from there and goes down and whatever. It's like it's famous.
It's a big rock.
It's huge. It's like crazy looking. Like you look at it like it's kind of scary, but it's really beautiful at the same time.
We love mountain. We love mountain because we don't really have mountain out here except.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. We played out there. We toured and played out there once.
We'll be back out there in November.
I forgot. Yeah, it's pretty flat, huh?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a bunch of dirt.
A bunch of dirt, and there's like maybe one massive mountain range, but there are like cannibals up there or something. So
you can't say that.
Yeah, you can.
They're really?
I'm not.
I'm gonna avoid that mountain.
It's very easy to avoid. It's the one thing
good.
You can see for a lot of miles, and then you peek in between it. And I've noticed this recently. It's called Four Peaks because it has 4 peaks, but it kind of pokes out like Mordor. So it's like one does not simply climb 4 peaks. You have to take a 4-day journey. 4-day destination.
4-day destination.
It's a destination.
Ominous mountain.
Yeah.
It's like naturally ominous.
Mm-hmm. Oh, seriously. Like, I think it could actually be a pretty cool album cover. And there's a band called Gatecreeper that actually released an album called Dark Superstition recently, and it's themed off of Superstition. So, lots of cool shit, but like not down here.
Like,
don't come here.
You have to travel.
Look at it, but from a distance.
Yeah. Oh, you'll be able to see everything from a distance. Believe me, most of it's just on a mesa that happens to be 1,200 feet up in the air. But
there's like 500 skinwalkers patrolling the base
at all times. At all times. I mean, I see one. He's just walking down the street. He's like, whatever.
Yeah, Reading's got some skinwalkers.
Mm-hmm. We don't. I've been around.
They're wearing clothes, but they're not human.
They're politicians.
Show.
Segue. Or something.
I know Frankie's like from a really nice town, and I'm from like notoriously bad town, like gritty. He's from this beautiful Monterey. Everybody loves Monterey. It's gorgeous. It's expensive, and I'm from like some people like it, some people hate it, but it's definitely like controversial. It's got like polarizing people in there.
Yeah. Well,
but yeah,
I think we've definitely been talking for a little bit, so nice and comfortable now if we weren't before. And we have a couple questions. Like basically, it's interesting. We have a full questionnaire. Like, we have a full questionnaire worth of different things we can ask Franki and Suki to kind of get caught up on their story, get caught up on their history, their legacy, etc. And that's the beautiful thing about growing, about changing over the years, is that, well, even these small little details you add can make so much difference. And, well, when most of everything back then, script wise or commentary wise, was improv, like, you guys happen to be from California. We live next state over. How's California? It's like, well, now we can dig a little bit deeper into that.
Yeah.
We can talk about you guys' story a little bit more intelligently, a little bit more like with more detail, with more precision, accuracy, which I make it sound like, a gun, but that's
It's a rifle.
a rifle. Yes.
Terrible.
A marksman rifle.
It is.
Terrible comparison.
Suki knows what's up.
All right, cut the skinwalker talk. Straight
Yeah.
to rifle marksman talk.
That sounds like a good tangent. You need marksman rifles to combat against skinnies. So that works. But I mean, we talked hella last time about like kind of the surface of you guys' stories and stuff. I think one big question that we could ask that not many people know about is just concerning, quote, the scene. So this question, number 3 in part 1, goes as follows. Growing up, as you got more into metal and rock, or possibly even other genres entirely, did you have other people in school or in your local community who helped you push forward? And this can be a question for the both of you.
You can go because you have a big answer for that one.
Okay.
Mine's more like I was alone for so long.
I feel it. So growing up, I grew up in a pretty kind of like free household. Like I was like adopted, so my step family didn't really make me do a lot of stuff. I kind of just had to do good in school and like not get in trouble for the most part, and I could just kind of do what I wanted. So growing up, I went to a lot of shows. At the age of like 11 or 12, it was when I first started going to shows. I started going to first like punk shows. And then I had some friends introduce me to it's like kind of like post-hardcore, but it was more like early metalcore back in the day.
Yeah.
So I went to a couple of shows like of those in town and stuff like that, and then got really into like being a part of like my local scene and stuff like that. So I started going to like a lot of like metalcore and hardcore shows, and kind of just like grew from there. It would spend like every week I would spend Friday through Sunday at whatever show was going on locally in the scene and stuff like that. So growing up, I didn't necessarily and in my town specifically that Suki was talking about, Monterey, there wasn't really anybody there that was alternative or anything like that. So I'd say I was like the only like scene kid in my school, but in the greater surrounding area, there most definitely was a scene there and stuff like that. So like I made a lot of friends within the scene. But I didn't necessarily have anybody in the scene necessarily push me, but more so as like a group or as a family, or like through camaraderie. We kind of all just like stuck together and would just kind of make this our thing, I guess.
Yes.
So I would say not so much anybody like pushing me forward, but like I had a lot of friends where we would go every week, like, religiously to shows, and we'd, mosh and hang out and have fun with the bands and all that kind of stuff. So, for me, I'd say I have that. And there are, I guess, some promoters in my town that have been promoters since I was like pretty young. I'd say that we still work with, like even Lucrecia works with now, that I could say they're not necessarily like anybody like inspire, push me forward, but they're most definitely people that have been in our scene that have helped me on many occasions and help us grow as a band and help us get better and bigger opportunities, and remember me from when I was young and was like a young kid in the scene, and just kind of keep that that relationship or that camaraderie going, and kind of the scene and keep it growing.
That's the funny thing too, is that's more or less what that question is really trying to ask, is if you had that community, if you had that sense of community that helped keep that momentum, right, on a collective community level. Because when you don't have a community to tether yourself to, and you're having to start that community yourself, well, naturally it's a little bit more difficult. And
it sounds a lot more daunting.
Yeah, this is very, very, it's very sound on a worldwide level. And that's one of many things that this podcast has proven so far, whether it be in New Zealand, Indonesia, Malaysia, Russia, or the greater parts of Europe, is that if you don't really have a community, and if you're not the person who is willing to kind of out yourself, put yourself out in the open and say, hey, I'm making a metal band, but we also go, and it's not really happening yet. Well, naturally, you have all the elders who, depending on the century you're in, they're like, okay, we need to burn them at the stake because these are actual Satanists. But then you have that you have that sense of community, that sense of camaraderie, and then there's a little bit less there's a little bit more hesitancy, right, even by the greater parts of the community that are opposed to everything new and counterculture. But what I'm trying to get at here is that if you don't have a community and you're having to start it on your own, like Frankie said, it's very, very daunting. It can be intimidating, but that's one thing that we want to encourage here, from, you know, of course, a very not conflicted, not war-torn part of the world, that being in Phoenix, Arizona, where literally everybody's just grumpy because it's so hot. It's a very privileged spot, you know. It's not exactly war-torn, so it's easier to say from this position. But nonetheless, it's like we want to motivate as many people as possible. If they don't feel that they have communities, it's like start those communities yourself. Get those brotherhoods started. Get that family started. And it's the most important thing to music and to art is if you don't have a community, make it yourself. So
I want to say one quick thing real quick, actually.
Yes.
If that's okay. It's funny that you bring that up because even when like Lucrecia first started, like we mentioned, I think on the previous podcast that we started off kind of more as like an online band first before we started playing shows and stuff. But once we
which I think is smart, by the way, anyways.
Yeah, but once we started playing shows and stuff like that, we kind of needed to get ourselves more out there and stuff like that. And because we weren't really, like Suki was talking about, taken very seriously, I guess, so to speak, at first.
Yeah, I was nobody.
Because we didn't really have a lot of, like, we didn't have a footprint as far as a band, and a lot of the ideas and things we were trying to push were just kind of like different and weird.
They're taboo.
In comparison to a lot of the other local bands and stuff like that. So we kind of had to foster our own community, and through time, you know, like just making friends at different shows and connecting with fans and stuff like that would come up with us, play Smash with them and hang out with them.
Yeah.
Try our best to get to know them so that when we saw them, hopefully at the next show, we'd be like, oh, hey, so-and-so, it's good to see you again, or, you know, looking forward to having fun. And we can hit them up personally. We know that when we hit them up that we have a fan and a friend that, you know, will be there to have our backs when we play a show, that so we can show the rest of the scene that, you know, we're not just like some random ass band, that, you know, we have supporters and people that care and stuff like that. And it was most definitely an interesting thing because with Lucrecia before that, I don't think I've ever really kind of fostered a community or anything like that. And I'm pretty sure Suki hasn't either. But most definitely you can see through that how much, like you said, it can really help. We have a lot of people that were kind of shy and stuff like that, and they're you know, like otakus and nerds. That don't really go out a lot. And I'm sure Suki probably talked about this in the last podcast, but through, you know, our shows and stuff like that, they were able to find other friends. And a lot of times we'll find people like that we introduced at shows coming to our shows together and hanging out on many occasions. And it's really cool because we're happy. We're like, oh, you have a friend now to go to shows with. And like, yeah, I've gone to a bunch of other shows now with this person, and, you know, we're having a great time. And and, you know, just creates this good bond and good community within the Lucrecia Club. So yes,
and I do think that this is a perfect way for us to kind of talk about and also reminisce upon the results of Anime Fest. So this was a very, very revolutionary idea, in my opinion. From a marketing standpoint, it quite literally brings the idea of your average underground counterculture music show. No matter the subgenre, right? Whether it be slam, brutal death metal, metalcore, post-hardcore, whatever it could be.
Wish we had a lot of that in there.
Right, exactly. Yonder a Chainsaw Regurgitation Factory. Yeah, like such a...
It was cool.
I bet that was really fun. So,
yeah.
Overall, like, I kind of want to talk about that as much as possible, and kind of like, you know, I know for sure when we first had our session, this was definitely not really something we talked about. So I can only assume that the true blueprints, the true foundations, the people that you worked with to get this accomplished, get this done, and possibly even look into an annual tradition. Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm sure this is something that happened like 2022 or 2023 even. So how did Anime Fest get cooked up in your brains, and like who was involved in this process?
Yeah. So I think I want to say that first. I think it's because of the path that we've taken, and like all the way back to Franki's days of having that community and knowing those types of things. I didn't know anything about being in a band or going to shows. I wasn't allowed to, leave my house. I wasn't allowed to leave my room. I was like forced to stay prisoner. So Frankie brought a lot of that experience and expertise when we met. So I kind of feel like it was, destiny that we met, because he brought that element, and then I brought the element of like I always was kind of like the person in school that would be friends with so many different groups and bridge a lot of gaps in between people that normally might not have been friends. Sometimes it's just breaking the ice. Sometimes it's creating something. Like Thursday nights we play Smash. It could be like lots of things like that. I always envisioned like Lucrecia to be more than just a show. Like I wanted people to have a really great time and be entertained on a lot of levels. My dream, even further than what I can do now, is I want more of a theatrical show. Even so, like I want like props, and I want segments in between songs. Like I can't do that now, but I'm just saying, like, these are the things I've been thinking of and wanting to do anyways. And like I feel like all of that brought us to the point of where people saw us bring us Smash shows. People saw us playing Mag West. People saw us playing Anime Expo, where like they say we're the first metal band to play there. I'm not sure. I didn't do research on that, but that's what people said. And I don't know exactly what inspired it, but I do think that
I do, but you can go for yourself.
Okay. I personally think
they told me that's the only reason I know.
By us doing what we're doing and being ourselves, that things happen and things move in towards the future of this moment. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Kind of like abstract, but that's how the world works. It's like ripples, like
yes.
The subtlest thing can create a ripple, and you'll never know that little ripple created this whole thing. So we were approached to do Anime Fest by Phoenix Down.
Oh yeah, a band called Phoenix Down.
Okay.
Specifically one member,
yeah,
actually.
His name's John. He's a really cool guy.
It was his he's the one who approached us. But yeah, go ahead and say the rest, I guess. I just want to make sure that I prefaced it with all these things, because personally, I think.
No, you're not wrong. Actually, it's funny that you
all
said
of
that.
It, it's like a tide, or like a ripple.
She's actually really right about that. During the Anime Fest, when we talked to the band that helped bring us onto it and stuff like that, they told the guy John, who was like the initial idea
I think
starter,
a fan was talking to me.
He told me that the whole idea stemmed. He's like, I just want to let you know this whole idea stemmed from your band. And I was like, really? Cool. And he's like, yeah, I know, it was pretty crazy. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty nuts. And he said, yeah, he said, I have a friend. I think it might have been the singer of his band potentially, but he said a friend that had showed him or told him about it. Oh no. He said he was driving in his car listening to Spotify radio for bands, and somehow Architect. No, it was Architect.
It was
Architect came up, and so he heard the song and he said he was really blown away by the song. So he decided to go check out the video or look us up online, and saw we had a video. And then he watched the video and he said he was really, really, really inspired by the video, and said that he just really wanted to have a chance to be able to play with us and just play a show. And so he started cooking up with this idea for a show, and somehow he thought about us and like what we do and what we entail visually, and like Suki was saying, like all the different things that we do that kind of cause a snowball effect, and thought like, their whole thing aside from being metal band is like, otaku culture. Why don't we create like a
I'm just gonna let her in and give her some dinner.
Why don't we create like an Anime Fest based around like heavy music, and it'll have like a lot of the thing. Sorry, like my feet keep falling asleep. A lot of the
Good.
things that like you'd find in an anime con, like they had vendors, we threw our own Smash tournament that we had there at the festival.
So sick.
They had a cosplay contest. They had voice actors like various voice actors from like One Piece and stuff like that come out and do like Q&As. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Like they the guy John, he put a lot of work into this. But it was really interesting to see that he said it stemmed from us, and not in like a big like, oh, we're so cool kind of way. It was just really really surprising, and it really touched me in a way. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, damn, man. And he said that he was really happy that he followed through because of that drive to want to play with us. He built up this whole concept and idea around this festival, and pitched the idea, got the bands on, and then they sold the tickets. We promoted. They sold the show out in like 8 hours. And then after that, they were like, wow, this is going really well. A lot of people are really interested.
And they're in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, they're in the desert of SoCal. So
and they
it's
said
not
nothing happens there.
Yeah, it's not crazy,
Like,
but they just don't really have a lot of shows like that.
Like, yeah, it's just very, in their words, boring.
So yeah. So they hit us back up like a couple days, maybe a week after the first sellout, and we're like, hey, would you guys be interested in doing a second day of the festival? A lot of people showed interest in coming, and we wouldn't want to do the festival without you guys because you guys are like the headlining band and like kind of the centerpiece of the Anime Fest. So if you guys don't want to do it, we won't do it. But if you guys are down to do it, like we'll have you guys come play again, and we'll pay you and all that good stuff. And we thought about it like really quick, and we're like, yeah, most definitely we'll do it. And then kind of from there, we worked with John, the promoter, to kind of come up with different things like the Smash tournament and stuff like that, and just try to make it just like a really fun and engaging time for all the goers of the festival. And it went really well. They did really well, both like on ticket wise, as far as attendance, and like as far as like sales.
Year one.
So they decided that they're the next year that they're gonna do another one, and they're hoping to move it because they did it this year at this really nice brewery. It was a brewery that they have like wrestling events at, concerts.
Wow.
It's really gorgeous.
Yeah, and it's really big.
I walked in and I said, oh, this is a really they put a lot of love into it. There's beautiful artwork all over the walls, hand painted. Oh, it's okay. I'll just give her some dinner. Just let her chill for a second. Yeah.
We got two outside the room.
She wants our attention, but yeah,
it's just like a really gorgeous place, and like I'm like, wow, they put a lot of love in this place. And then we were told by another band that they played there with Avenged Sevenfold.
Wow.
Or somebody like on that level.
On that level.
It was someone like up there. Like it was like not even close to our level. But it's just a really like it's like in my area there's a place called Ace of Spades in Sacramento.
I've heard of Ace of Spades, yeah.
Okay, so in my opinion it kind of reminiscent of an Ace of Spades. Very perfect square. I really love like square venues because it's like everyone can fit, and yeah, it's just a really nice place. But sorry, I just wanted to make sure I talked about it because I was really impressed and I felt grateful. And they had like it was like 15 or 20 different beers and ciders, and it was really cool. Like I was like, I'm a beer fan, so for me, I was like, also another thing I really liked about it. So I just wanted to brag about the venue for a second.
You're good. No, that's
so they were really kind. They treated us well, and they decided after this first year that they were gonna do another year. They were like, yeah, we want to do another year because this one was so successful. And despite that venue was really nice, they said they were hoping to do more of a con style environment since they felt that even though this space that they had was a really good sized venue, like I was really surprised. I thought it was gonna be a lot smaller because we have played in other breweries before that are still like relatively good in size, but not big enough to host something like this. And they said they're gonna try to put it at their local fairgrounds, I guess, which is where they had where they used to, I guess, have an anime con like this like 7 or 10 years ago, like a long ass time ago. So it'll be kind of cool. It'll kind of go from just being an anime fest to an actual like convention itself. So hopefully next year and they want us to headline again. So hopefully next year when they have us come back that we can help them make it grow and we can get more bands.
So it's kind of like what you said earlier, like making the moves to make your community have things like that.
You guys are doing that. It's
you gotta put effort into it, but people were craving it. Like I saw lots of cosplayers and It was just nice. Like, I know what it's like. Like I said, I'm from Redding, so like I know what it's like being from a small town. I lived half my life in Redding, half my life in Sacramento. Like Sacramento is huge, Redding is super small. So like I know I experienced both worlds, but
Yeah.
in a small place, it's like really hard and it gets really lonely. And you know, you want to meet people who have similar interests.
Yeah.
And it's really hard.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important what they're doing. And similar to like Mag West, which I brought up earlier.
Yes.
They, for the first time, had, well, actually, I don't know if that was the first one, but they just started, I think. Like, it's new. Mag West is
They did
new.
Mag West they've been doing Mag West for like a bit, but I know that we were like the first
Oh,
one.
Mag Fest, and then there's Mag West.
Yeah, Mag West has been around at least for a few years, yeah.
But I think it's only been a couple, but either way, I don't remember, but I feel like it was just a couple years ago they started this. And that's an anime video game / music.
Yeah, it's more about like video game music and stuff like
convention.
that, or inspired music.
Okay.
So like literally it's a con, like anime con mixed with a music festival.
That's sick. That's really cool.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we want you to play. And I told them I want to support things like this because I think they're really important.
Yeah.
And I want to build momentum as much as I can. I don't have as much as a pull as some other people, but like, you know, it's really important to me that I want to create communities like this and combine music and nerdy stuff together.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people like that are like, unfortunately, really intimidated to go to shows. You know, there's a whole bunch of people like that don't go to shows.
Yeah.
So I just like kind of feel like it's important to spark the fire under them. But
I agree.
Yeah.
No, it's a beautiful thing. It really is. It is so awesome to see that one of the artists that we've happened to host on this very small podcast that's only writing a global occupation and international occupation on a technicality. It is so cool to see that one of the first artists that we ever hosted on the show is doing as much as they are for their community and for the genre itself. You guys are an inspiration.
You know?
Yeah, it's very important. You guys are very important.
Yeah.
You guys are the future.
It makes people happy, and like I said, there's a lot of people that want to go to shows, but they just need a little bit of incentive.
Yes.
And there's been a lot of people that come to our show and we're their first metal band. And now they go to metal shows, you know, now they know more metal bands. You know, they found them on their own after discovering us. Yeah.
And not only that, but I mean, I haven't even been to a con yet. So like we were like, yo, we have to go to this anime fest.
We gotta go.
Well, we were like, we have to go. We have to go to Anime Fest. And like, you know, basically I know the people like behind the scenes who are like,
oh yeah, you definitely gotta go to a con.
Like, oh my god.
I don't want in there though.
So
sorry, my dog I gotta help out real quick. Fred, come here. Come on. Let's go. Come on, Fred, come here. Come here. Right here. Come here.
Sorry, she's trying to be nosy and get up in there.
No, you're good. You're good. We love having guests, more guests on the show.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know. We definitely plan to go. We definitely plan to attend next year because we wanted to so bad this year. But at the same time,
that would have been cool.
that would have been so groundbreaking. So many more stories to
next
tell.
year's gonna be even bigger. So
yeah, we hosted our first Super Smash Brothers tournament. More so, Frankie did. He did a really good job on that, and we had people competing. They never heard of us before, and they won a bunch of Lucrecia merch. So that's so
sick. We love that. We love to hear that type of stuff.
But they love us now. Now they're fans.
Exactly.
The first day was a fan.
But they only just saw us. Like they're new fans.
Yeah.
Like you know,
that's so sick.
like I said, that's what I was saying. The important thing is you got a lot of fresh faces, and and then he had prom. He literally did the tournament and then went to prom right after.
That was funny.
I had the interview with him. I still haven't posted it yet, but it's so cute. You know, it's just like,
I love that.
Yeah, it's so sweet. He came with his brother, and his brother was a fan of us, and he never heard of us, and it was just like you said, like, you know, it's just nice seeing that. It just makes me really proud. I'm just happy. I'm happy seeing people happy.
Yeah, it's the reward of you guys working as hard as you have all these years, taking your time and like basically fermenting your product. Because as kind of gross as that word, exactly. You kept it in the oven for a long time. And it came out just
Slowly
like
but
this.
surely, all right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a
Then
gentle
we're still
bake,
cooking.
but it's gonna be
But-
very delicious and moist.
Wordplay. We love this wordplay on the anatomy.
I'm just a silly goose. I can't help it.
For the longest time, I was definitely one of those kinds of people who needed incentive to attend a metal concert because he was the one who got me into metal. And before that, it was like Panic at the Disco, like kind of punk-y
Oh, I loved them.
kind of music.
Actually,
right?
yeah.
But my first concert, like I was intimidated, I'm not gonna lie. It was a lot louder than I was expecting, but
Yeah.
like the community built behind it was so much more welcoming than I
Yeah.
expected it to be.
So for a little bit of
Yeah, and
context,
if they're a good one, they'll take care of you too.
exactly.
They'll make sure you're okay. I've had strangers. I've been in the front of the pit. I've been hit, and
Yeah.
I've had strangers come to help me. So like, I know what you mean.
I mean, my last concert, I crowd surfed for the first time.
Yeah.
These like
I was still scared of that. So you see, you
was
got me on
terrifying.
that one.
it was terrifying, but these guys in front
But
of
it's
us,
fun.
exactly.
Right?
These guys in front of us were like, "Come on, you can do it." I'm like, "Okay, fine. If you guys can manage to get me back here, then I'll do it." And they were super sweet about it. When he went to go on mosh, the
Yeah.
guy in front of me was like protecting me from the pit. Like
Yeah.
people are so much nicer than you would expect them to be with just such a kind of harsh vibe to the music.
Because
still have
they're
a souvenir,
there to
too,
get it
from
out
the
too,
show.
Like they're
Yeah.
there. They're normal people, and they're just trying, to get out whatever it is.
Yeah.
Could be sadness, could be anger, could
Exactly.
be just vibe. And when my favorite thing to do is to look around the crowd when the song is really going and the vibe is hard, and you see everybody on the same page in the same level. And it's one of the few moments in my life where I've seen a bunch of humans like together and you as unison.
Mhm.
And so I know what you're talking about, and that's like one of the reasons why I believe shows can help people.
Yeah.
Not like nerds, they can help you. I swear to God.
Exactly.
We just need like a friend to show you.
No, it's for a little bit of context too. Her first ever show.
Yeah, what is it?
I started it pretty high, like high standards. It was Ginger and Suicide Silence when they were.
That's a pretty good tour. I remember when they did that. That was like last summer, right?
Yeah.
I think that's
2
a
years
great.
ago.
Summer before
I
last
think
time?
that's a great first one.
Yeah,
honestly.
she met
I
Mark.
think she got pretty lucky with that.
Yeah, unfortunately, at the time, like things were a little bit different. So she was like, imagine your first concert being a deathcore show.
Yeah,
like
I was
period.
just getting into the
Never
genre.
had gone to a concert before. I bought her the tickets. Like
you're out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, seriously.
Exactly.
Of course.
And unfortunately, even at the time, which I felt really bad about, because John erratically, we started out so heavy. She's like, I don't know if I ever want to go to a show again. I'm like, oh, I mean, fair enough. But
Yeah.
he also met Mark from Suicide Silence, and he's just a goofy guy. So,
Super sweet.
and then after that, I mean, this last show was it was, what was it? It was the The Cure North American tour with Make Them Suffer, Novelist.
Oh yeah, we just missed that. I was so sad.
Novelist.
Yeah,
Novelist.
Yes.
Yes.
Novelist was so good.
Novelist
Yeah, I
was the
messed that up.
best
Guys,
opening band ever.
I was supposed to go.
That's okay.
Next time. There's always
I was
next
gonna
time.
meet Novelist. So yeah, kind of sad. I messed up. We messed up the days.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
singer follows us on Insta, so we were hoping to meet and like.
They'll tour
good
again,
stuff.
but
Yeah, they'll
still,
come
it's
back.
just like
Yeah.
kind of sucky. Like
They're like building really, really good momentum. Like they're very similar to what you guys just did with Meyneth, right? They released their Okapi EP. And like they get a new female vocalist. I'm like, okay, cool. This is really, really cool. Novelist is great, and I hope to get them on
they
the show
surprised a
too.
lot
But
with that one. I saw a
seriously,
lot of people really surprised.
really surprised, but in the best of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
not
then-
nothing negative. They just were surprised in general.
exactly.
I actually didn't see a lot of negative critique, which is really nice because I know when I first started out, I was really scared of that. But no, mostly she got really great comments, and she deserves it. She's really good. But yeah, I'm always happy. People have told me right away. Of course, they're like, "Oh my God, there's a new female vocalist for Novelist." Of course, they gotta tell me, Oh,
We love
there
novelists.
it is. There it is. It's muted.
It's muted. Is it muted?
You pressed it, and it was working.
Yes. Is it working now?
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you'll see me
You
on Do
got a
List
new
or
mic?
something.
The mic's all fucky wucky, so
You could turn up a little bit more if you want.
Let's see. Ha la 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 la.
Yeah, that's
Perfect.
good for me.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Ha la 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 la. Don't know why that's always my sound check.
But did you like Ginger?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, Ginger is one of my
Is
favorites.
that what like
of all
made
time.
you feel like a little different?
yeah, like
Because she's hard to not like.
seriously, like being that I was new to the scene,
Yeah.
it was surprising to see a female vocalist which with such like fucking soul
Yeah.
involved with the music, and
She's like strong energy.
it was incredible. I'm really lucky to have been able to go and see her in concert and meet the guys from Suicide Silence. And
I still haven't seen Ginger. I still haven't. So like
It's
I really
definitely worth
can't
it.
wait, honestly. I remember when I first saw her, like I was like first started to vocals, and there was like not a lot of female vocalists at the time compared to now.
yeah,
And I like showed them, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
I was like,
Pisces.
whoa.
Whoa.
No, that wasn't the song. It was when she
Was
had
it?
dreads.
Oh yeah.
It's when she had dreads, actually. I forget the name of the song.
Yep.
It was way before then.
No.
But
not Pisces.
Pisces is after the dreads.
yeah, what is? Do you guys remember? She has dreads, anyways. But yeah,
Right. Well, she doesn't have dreads anymore. She
had a few like changes in her appearance, but the video I'm talking about is she has
Yes.
dreads.
Yes. That's the one with the dogs in it.
I think so, actually. Like, man, what is it called?
Fuck. I know it's from the King of Everything album cycle. I can probably pull that up right now.
I was just like, wow, she's a badass.
No, seriously.
So, like, I
Watch
want to
people
be
with
like
them
that. Like, I
Lethal
hope I could be as cool as her.
Well, you've definitely done that, so no worries there.
This is like literally when I first started literally practicing vocals. Like, I think I don't even know if I did Rhapsodos yet. It either was right before Rhapsodos or barely right after at Rhapsodos. Because I recorded Rhapsodos, I think 6 months after practicing vocals.
Shit.
Like 4 to 6 months, something like that.
Damn.
But yeah, I was still very noob.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm happy that you got a really wonderful concert like that.
It was awesome.
It was funny though, because what is it? The Suffer Forever tour featuring Angel Maker, Vulvodynia, Falsifier, Carcosa, and Awakened Providence. She's like, nah, this ain't it. I'm like, that's
That's super heavy. I feel that.
There's like many
We've been with
types,
Carcosa
you know what I
before.
mean? There's many types.
It
Like,
really is.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, Stay Roll Over. That's the name of the song.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That was gonna kill me.
I'm the podcast editor. Like, James, pull that up. Like,
Yeah, I
Get
love
up on
when
screen.
podcasts
I'm like,
do
I
that.
do
I'm
my
like,
own
shoot, I
thing.
need that in real life, in real time.
it feels official.
I just want that, like, someone walking around, like, literally, like, just like, I'm like, pull that up. Like,
Jamie,
what was that
pull that up.
memory again? Like, how did I write this part?
Go to
They're
Facebook. Facebook memories.
The equation, just like
Oh, one day I'll get an Android or something, like a robot, and they will do all that for me, and then they're gonna help me because I have a terrible memory.
exactly.
Fair enough.
And they're gonna be my best friend.
Exactly.
So I think I'm like something a little bit more.
Wait, hold on. What Dr. Pepper is that? I gotta know.
I have strawberries and cream Dr.
You
Pepper.
son of a! I knew it. I saw the light color
she
on
has
the
that
bottom,
too.
and I was like, "Wait a minute, is it
My
the
last
same Dr.
one.
Pepper?"
It's my last one.
I think I have 2 left. But anyways, that's how funny. Sorry. I wanted to say it earlier, but it wasn't a right moment. But that was my opportunity. I had to ask. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's strawberries and cream. That's so funny.
It's the best one.
Oh man, I first tried that. Me and Frankie were like, "Woo!" Like Ric
They
Flair,
have a coconut and
"Woo!"
cream one too. They like just released a coconut and cream one.
Oh, I've heard. Yeah, I saw someone try it. I'll try it. You know, I'll give it all a try.
It's not
you know,
bad.
I don't like it, but
It's not bad.
As someone who grew up drinking Dr. Pepper late at night to crash out because of ADHD, even though it's not really related, growing up on Dr. Pepper because my mom's a big Dr. Pepper person.
yeah, my
I
mom
would say
too.
I would say the coconut one is kind of their weakest flavor because it doesn't really add anything to the Dr. Pepper formula to me. But I think that's also just because of the electrolyte kind of profile with the coconut flavor.
Does
It's
it,
kind of like
blend
it makes it taste more metallic.
Oh,
which
I'll
is
try
so
it, but
weird.
I know what
Yeah.
you mean. See, I was a
he's
little
just a
hesitant.
bitch about it.
Hey, that's not nice.
I'll still give it a try. Just
yeah,
you never,
by all
I
means.
don't know.
By all means, just like letting you know ahead of time.
My favorite though is coconut milk and strawberries.
Ooh.
That's my favorite
Watch
drink.
that be their next
all time.
flavor.
I buy it at the store all the time. It's just like a little brand, and it's got little jellies in it too, and it's delicious. Yeah, it's like my favorite drink of all time.
Oh yeah. So I think what we're gonna do, because like we've had a lengthy chunk of conversation already.
Yeah.
It's been a really fun one. Like we haven't been able to talk like this in such a long
rapid fire questions, go.
Yeah. Right. Question 5 in part 1, because this will probably be the last one we ask from part 1, and then we'll basically just go speed run into Under the Skin for Meyneth, because I'm sure you got plenty to talk about with that.
Got it.
This question goes as follows: what lessons have you learned since our last session as a person or musician, in life or in the industry, right? And how do those lessons drive you? How have they changed you? And how could they apply to others trying to accomplish what Lucrecia has accomplished so far?
You want to go first?
Hopefully that wasn't too complex of a question.
No, I got you.
I have to think, because I feel I'm always trying to learn, so that's kind of hard because that's kind of hard for me because I'm kind of different, I think, than a lot of people, like how they approach or think or do things. I'm always trying to learn, first of all. Like I like learning a lot, and I always liked being scholarly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'd have to think of major ones, and like I have to like go through my memories of that one. So if you have something right away.
I can go first.
Okay.
I'd say for me, I'd say I learned a few things. With Meyneth, it was kind of a weird thing because our initial goal when we started it was to first off write just a CD that we really felt strongly about, since Suki and I at the time, like we probably mentioned in the last podcast, were aside from Daisuke, the sole members at the time. So when we wrote the music, when we teamed up with Asher and started writing, and Luke, and started writing the EP, our whole goal was mainly to write songs that were our truest version of ourselves, since in the past we always had other people kind of throwing their 2 cents in on what we should or shouldn't do, and so we were like, fuck it, we're kind of just gonna do whatever. Which was really cool. And so we got all that squared away and stuff like that. And when we finally had the CD done, our goal was to release a bunch of videos, like what we did, back to back of each song on the EP, because we had only like 6 songs, so we wanted to try to maximize like the most we could out of it.
Yes.
So it took us a while, I'd say. I think that the strategy itself, I thought, was relatively effective. It worked, it didn't work quite as effective as we hoped it would, but it still was pretty effective. But I learned through doing that most definitely we get the most out of our videos. Like, people really enjoy them. I feel like a lot more than I could say some other bands I know, which is a really nice thing, because all of our videos that we've made, we put, even the most simple ones like Grave of the Fireflies, where it's just generally one fit. Even that had a lot go into it, where we had a lot of like planning, and Suki did a lot of the outlining.
And we still had to cut a lot from that too.
But Suki did a lot of that, like the outlining work, and thought up a lot of the storyboards and all that stuff. So one thing I'd say we learned, because there's a couple things I'd say, is first off, planning and preparation, like how to do good planning and preparation. Like our first set of videos we did, nothing against the people who worked on our videos, because they were all really good. We learned.
Yeah, we chose them because they're talented.
Yeah,
and they're passionate.
Yeah. But we learned that, sometimes that people can't always see or understand your vision better than you. Like, you hope sometimes that when you convey things that people will like lock in on that and kind of hone in on the things that you want and will deliver. Yeah. But I think that's
especially because I want to say, especially because they were also most of them inspired by video games or anime.
So there's some kind of reference
if they
there.
saw it or knew it, that it would be easy and I didn't have to do all this extra stuff.
Yeah, but we learned.
But it's not true.
Yeah, so we learned that people don't always get your vision. So sometimes taking a more hands-on approach on the videos themselves, or just whatever you're doing, can yield the best results. It most definitely is a lot more tiring because it requires a lot more stuff. Like having to figure out like the storyboards for each one of the scenes, kind of figuring out how we want, like, do we want visual effects, or practical effects, just all these different things. But it helped us become really, really good at planning
and realistic planning.
Yeah, realistic planning
within our budget.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, the first couple videos we did had kind of like crazy high budget. Like it was
we
kind of
still cut out a big chunk of Sleeping Slaves of Fate actually.
Yeah, but
like we wanted to have an epic like Ora battle.
Yeah, but
in the middle of it.
But yeah, so we learned how to plan and stuff like that, and through trial and error of like figuring these things out, we figured out how to plan, budget, and all that stuff, which helped really effectively. But then at the same time, we learned, because the videos were so big budget that we had to really like save and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that time is also something that's really important too. So something, a little bit of insight on like our new stuff that we're working on. We kind of try to take the same approach that we did with this, where we want to deliver like the best quality stuff we can. But instead of spending so much time on a single level, where it's like, even though technically it is an EP, but we release, single by single, we plan on releasing them in like batches this time. So we'll still have videos, like the videos that people really enjoy and love, that we put like a lot of our heart and soul into, but at a little bit less frequency versus volume. So you'll get more music out of us this time. So like when we release a video, we'll drop like 3 or 4 songs at a time, with one of them being a video, versus just doing like 6 songs straight through the video. So people get more music out of us faster and at better quality. Like, I wouldn't say better quality, because I think that what we made was good, but it'll be just as good quality, but more efficient, I'd say.
Right.
Yeah. More, and because we've kind of worked through the trial and error of learning how to do videos, how to record a full album, like Meyneth, how to write, what the best writing process is, I think that we're going to have a much more effective full length. Like when we come out with this full length, I think that people will be equally as happy with the quality, but I think that the way it's delivered and how we deliver it, I think will satiate people a lot better, because I think that was like a big problem that we had, was that I say that even if it isn't exactly like Suki said, where we had to cut out some stuff, everything we release, I feel like is the best we can make it and as top notch as it can be. But there's always things you can learn and take from that. And I think most definitely the time thing was most definitely one of our biggest obstacles, because when you're self-funding your own project and your own dreams, you have to find ways to get this money, and the only way you can really get the money is work. And if you want to do a big budget video, you can't do the big budget video until you have all the necessary pieces. So.
And it's just 3 of us in the band that's paying for this stuff.
Yeah, so it takes time. But now
me and Frankie live in the same household, so basically, like, that's even harder,
Yeah. So pretty much that on the next, what I learned is better time management and better efficiency. And I feel strongly that it's going to really, really help this next full length a lot.
Good.
Yeah, that's what I took in from it. You got what about you, Sue?
I'll just say one thing that I thought of when you're talking is that, I definitely learned that for me, if I want the videos to come out with basically, like, the problem is before is we did the video, but there had to be so many edits that it delayed the release.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, to minimize that problem, I have to be extremely thorough. Right. I can't leave anything up to imagination.
Yeah, or interpretation.
Because I thought about it and I was like, like, imagine describing like a dream to someone. They're going to have their own idea of what it looks like still. And it probably is not even close.
Yeah.
What it actually looks like for you.
Right.
And, I had to remember that. Like, I know they're not psychic.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, well, these next few, trial and error, I'm going to make sure, even though it's painstakingly like difficult and long and stressful, I'm going to do each scene storyboard, the cues, try to talk about the camera, like, how, like angles, like
Yeah.
distances. I had to learn a lot of film stuff.
Yeah, it was
Right.
interesting.
Like I studied like a lot of that terminology, and then how to make things look like something.
Yeah.
Like I watched a lot of behind the scenes with like Silent Hill, the Joker with the last one with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
Because the cinematography in that is really, really phenomenal.
Yes.
And so
It's very captivating.
yeah, it's so good. Like I love that movie. It's just perfect in every way. Like it was definitely inspirational for me in general. And
Good.
then with my last video, Chapter Black, I studied like behind the scenes of Silent Hill. Like how did they get this to look like this without it spending too much money and just things like that.
Yeah.
And they cut down the editing a lot. Like we had like half of how many edits that we usually do.
Right. And one thing too.
Preparation.
Right, exactly.
Preparation H. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So like you guys were talking about like all the editing that you did for these bigger budget music videos that you did, because like you want to make sure that what you present to the public and what you present as a visualizer for your songs, for the music, for the creation, that eventually filters into an EP, and then on top of that, the physicals for that EP end up alluding to the graphic layout format of like PS1 games and all this other stuff. There's references everywhere. There's like kind of nods to American entertainment and the entertainment industry, the culture behind it. So like one thing I thought of, and I'm not sure if you guys have thought about this yet. I know I mentioned it to you guys when we first started talking too, but way before we even did our first podcast. But I had the epiphany just now. Well, what if in the future, when you guys are doing these bigger budget music videos, if you guys ever get a Patreon set up, maybe one mechanic can be having people tip you and commission you and be like, hey, I'll go ahead and, subscribe to your Patreon if you do a cover of this opening song for this anime. That can be one mechanic. Yeah. But another mechanic that could be really fun is not only behind the scenes photos and stuff for the music videos, but quite literally anything that you felt did not belong in the final cut, you can basically try to make bloopers. You have as much fun with it as possible and kind of get some of that financial return from your music videos, make it all fun, make it all goofy and stuff, and have a whole bunch of content behind the scenes behind that Patreon for the Lucrecia Club.
Yeah.
And give them something a little bit more without even having to put any extra effort in, because, well, that was already in the creative process for the film level music videos. So I just thought about that. I'm like, I have to say something. I have to say
a good idea.
Yeah, my only question is like, I don't know where to price it at.
Well, I mean, basically the Patreon that I've been doing or try to kickstart for the last 3 years.
I just am intimidated.
I get it. I completely understand. Patreon, it can work for some people, like bands like While She Sleeps and stuff, because they have 5 people doing different mechanics in the band. One of them is a mental health advocate, whole bunch of different shit. But to answer your question a little bit more directly, I think that because of the 3-piece that you guys are, just go ahead and start with like a $3 tier.
Okay.
3 members, $3 to support the future of a band who is not only making these big budget music videos, but they're also trying, if you guys are still doing that, they're also trying to like make their own original game. Yeah. Because I remember during the first session, I'm like, holy shit, you guys are trying to make a video game? That's so cool.
I know. I keep talking about it. You never know. Like, I've met a lot of people. Like when we played Anime Expo, I met a lot of connections.
Yeah, seriously. And that's also what Anime Fest ends up doing. Like, of course, that's not your mind isn't 24/7 corporate shit. Like, how many people can we possibly get to invest into the Lucrecia Club? But it's more like if you go on
Lucrecia stocks way up.
all the way up. So
all the way up.
All the way up.
All the way down.
For a little bit of perspective.
That's okay.
Too.
I'm just kidding. I'm just playing around. I'm just kidding.
if you multiply 13.1K, which is your monthly listener count right now, and you multiply that by 3,
Lord have mercy.
Lord have mercy. So 13,000 or 13,100 times 3.
I just, as long as people don't think I under-delivered,
No,
because I
I'm
got
sure
so
they
much
don't.
on my plate, but I can definitely do things like that. I could do things like that. I draw too. I mean, I don't know.
Exactly, dude. There's so much that you guys do behind the scenes. It's insane. So I think it's only a little bit fair that you're trying to self-sustain yourself and going into the future, like make it to where, in theory, right? Because I'm not in the band. It's like you guys want to make sure this album gets out within the next 2 years. Well, I'm pretty sure you can do that with a $39,300 budget. Like
That is true.
Like if you guys,
okay, I'll do it. All right, you convinced me. I was just intimidated because like I wanted to make sure it was fair, but a lot of people said that actually sometimes they didn't even like check what they put out on Patreon. They just want to like support their favorite artists, and they said they won't check for months. But I didn't want to go into that mentality. But those are like good because I already kind of like have those anyways because I love having like behind the scenes or bloopers and funny stuff.
Those are so fun. Like
I personally have always liked those on like DVDs I used to buy when they had the extras, and my favorite part was going to the extras section. And so I personally really love that stuff.
Maybe most importantly too, this is another way that you can kind of like monetize. Sorry, YouTuber brain, YouTuber mouth over here. Another way you can monetize is, I mean, I ordered basically there's this band called the Stygian Complex. They're based in North Carolina. They broke up earlier this year after releasing their first and final full length. But they also sold this final line of merch that consisted of a DVD, like a collector's edition DVD that had unreleased music videos, unreleased live stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe you guys can even take it a step further. And with your future music videos and stuff, you basically turn those into films.
Yeah.
And then you kind of compress them into these collector's edition full-length album name, place that on there. Collector's edition album name, the movie or something. And you just have bloopers in there. You have a whole bunch of different shit. But people love their physicals. People love their physical collector's edition items, just like you guys do. Exactly. So I think that could be a great way for you guys to kind of like skyrocket yourselves and, just provide yourself a more realistic sustainability, right? And just something that can help feed back into the system, but on a realistic level. And I think that $3 a month from your 13.1 thousand monthly listeners, get to it, people. I think that will be a lot. I think that would be really good for you guys. So over here, me just no certification in business or marketing whatsoever. But I'm like, I got ideas for Lucrecia stonks, dude. Let's go.
Okay, well, I'll give it a whirl.
Let's give it a whirl. So
you're gonna do great.
You're gonna do great. I promise. I promise. So I think now would be, even though it's kind of out of left field, that is what segues are in a podcast. But after all this time, I think it's finally time to go under the skin of Meyneth. And under the skin is a very, very specific process. We go into imaginary scenarios and all this other shit. But I think most importantly, to continue reminiscing over history that you guys have made for yourself, we're going to get into a scenario where, well, you guys are no longer in your band. You're one of your fans that attended the Anime Fest, and they're just experiencing everything that there was to offer there, including seeing you guys as headlining night concluding set. And, maybe at the merch table, maybe if you guys had the resources, I'm not sure if this was already a thing, but maybe there's a small little merch table and you guys have physicals for Meyneth. And they're like, whoa. But at the same time, like you guys are intending in the first place, it looks more like a video game. So maybe the members, to be members of the Lucrecia Club, they're like, is this a video game? Is this an album? And then one of you guys approaches the table. You're like, oh, yeah, that's absolutely, that's an EP. That's music. Like, whoa, they open it up. You got all these special little things going on inside it. But most importantly, we have this EP cover from the maiden Meyneth herself, which, again, as far as I'm concerned, Masuki, you are the real life Meyneth that's just slapped onto the EP cover. It just it works really well. So if you were to turn this thing over, and I guess this could be an inquiry for your future like game description on the back, what would you say is a summary for the lyrical contents of this EP?
Oh, that's kind of easy because luckily a lot of animes and games have a lot in common. But well, yeah, I'll let you go first because I feel like I've talked the most.
Okay, so you want me to say like what the overall overarching lyrical themes are?
Yeah,
or
like
Yes. Yeah.
okay, yeah, no problem.
And if you were to summarize that like a physical DVD case, how they have it on the back, just like in a world, that type of shit. It's
Okay,
like
okay.
luckily,
what would
I
that
think that a lot of our lyrics kind of do have callbacks.
Yeah,
In
yeah,
themes.
reoccurring themes. Yeah, I feel you.
So
Okay.
I think that that's possible because we're drawn. Unfortunately, we're drawn to a lot of similar. We are drawn like moths to a flame to certain ideas and morals and like beliefs.
Yeah, so a lot of our stuff, since it's like rooted in either some type of like game or anime, most of them. Actually all of them on Meyneth, yeah. I would say most of it would have a in a world type of vibe. It'd be like something similar to something like maybe what you'd see on the back of a story like Lord of the Rings or like Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
Or even something like Conan, like an epic story, where there's sacrifice of friends that take you along the way. There's like a lot of things. Like each song kind of has its own vibe, but like she said, they kind of have the same kind of overarching themes of hope, triumph, sometimes sadness and sorrow, how to overcome that sadness and sorrow and use it as a fuel.
Loss.
Loss to keep you pushing forward. Being unyielding,
Fighting for your dreams.
Yeah, and always reaching and grasping towards the future in your dreams.
And you can have like a couple of people that come with you because they also want something deeply. And you guys both have goals. And together you're of course stronger.
Yeah, and even
Of
though
course.
sometimes along the way that you lose some of those people, that you still carry their dreams with you, and at the end,
they're not dead. They're not forever gone. They're living within you and your dreams.
Yeah, and that when you finally
You gotta get the AC on, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet it's hot.
You know what? I'm a little cooking, but I know I'm not cooking as much as you. Because I'm in Oakland and I can't complain. But go ahead.
But yeah, just generally like and then when you eventually reach those dreams or those ascertain those goals that you were trying to get, that essentially the people that didn't make it are still there, achieving these same dreams vicariously through you. Yeah, so I would say it's like that. It has in a lot of ways the elements of what you would have like a fantasy journey or an epic, I would say. So something like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah. Frankie Forest.
Yeah.
Venture out.
Oh, great.
And meet along the way. A common goal. Experience loss. Experience friendship. Experience triumph and overcoming difficulties and obstacles, which make their bond stronger. Like that kind of vibe, basically.
Yeah, it's funny
like
because
anime.
It's funny because the back of
they're
our
all about all that stuff. Honestly,
the back of our CD Meyneth, actually, the summary is very.
Let me
similar,
read it.
Very
Jesus.
similar to that. Actually,
where is it at? Let me read it. That's my phone.
Yeah,
we got the CDs.
We don't have the physical. We had to write all the stuff
we
out
have
for the artist.
we have the like most of it's done, so I have like the PNGs of it or whatever. I just have my phone. What the? You talking? I'll just look for it.
But yeah, I would say that's
I literally wrote something. I literally
that's
wrote.
the overarching themes for it.
That was a perfect chance.
Shoot, you might have to take the L on this one.
No, I just saw it.
We're running one time. We can't.
I believe in you.
Okay, we'll just sit up for 1 second.
Okay. I'm gonna stand up for 1 second.
So
All right,
so
here we go.
maybe
Or you should use your phone to call my phone, and then we'll win. Since you don't want to look up on your phone. I got my Pikachu blanket right here. It's like warm as heck. I should have never put it down.
So
Yeah,
maybe
why don't
one
you just
way.
open up
Because I
the...
don't have it readily available. I have to search for it, and my drive isn't very good.
Okay, well, he's... What the... Wolfie's on it. Wolf, my cat Wolfie is on my phone.
Oh,
There we go.
Wolfie.
I'm back, guys.
Wait. So you said that I can't find it either?
No, you might be able to. I don't know if you saved it on your phone.
Oh, Lord.
It's in the drive folder from what's his name. That's why I said I'm gonna have to go.
What's his name?
Kid. I can think of his name. Artist.
Oh, but it's a link that you sent me, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it a link that you sent me?
I might not have sent it to you. That's the thing.
I saw it.
Check one.
You guys are doing great. Fantastic.
I saw it.
Just take the L.
He wants me to take the L.
Just take the L.
He wants me to admit defeat.
We got more questions
Well,
we're gonna answer and stuff too.
Okay, get to the other ones while I do this.
so I mean, kind of listening to what you guys said, it really just takes me back to most of the anime I've watched. And then, with the whole niche of Lucrecia, it is kind of a metalcore take on all of these triumphant narratives. So maybe as similar or in correlation to the back of a book, let alone the back of a DVD case, maybe the quote would be, metalcore finally takes tribute, as in sacrifice. Cool.
Sacrifice.
Sacrifice.
The quote might read something like,
I
behold.
do have a lyric that says my sacrifice or our sacrifice, or whatever it says. And femto.
You start with behold.
I feel like a lot of people actually like quote our lyrics like all the time. We're like, oh yeah,
Shit.
like one of our lyrics.
That's when you know they're good.
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
But
is
I
this
think
it?
the one quote I can kind of conjure is like, behold, metalcore's take and tribute. It's reference to Japanese entertainments.
Yeah, I know. That's why I had to like write 3 different versions.
That's fair.
Sorry, his mic stand is like really fucking squeaky.
I don't know if
So
you can
we
hear
laugh
that.
at
Oh no, I don't.
No, it's silent on our end.
I don't know if they can even hear that. It can. Oh my god! I just realized they
I
can't.
can't hear it, but that's hilarious.
Every time it moves.
It's like it's like a haunted house's doors. But behold,
Jeez,
metalcore's.
Oh,
tribute
I know
to
where I
reference
can
to all
find it.
shonens.
I got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, now she can take it. No else.
Oh, my brain. Stop being so good. I'm just kidding. Okay, where is it at? Sign in, baby. I have everything here. Already, I always save things to like 3 different areas because
Gotta
I'm
have backup
nervous about it
destinations.
being deleted.
Destination.
But yeah, feel free to Frank talk or go
There's no
ahead.
question. We're waiting on you.
There's no question. That's it. That's the last question.
No, I haven't been asked yet.
Oh shoot. Okay, hurry up. Okay, I'm
We love you
logging
both.
in. I got it. Just give me 1 second here.
Yeah, you're good. This would be great for audio listeners.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Because
Help me.
the thing is we're laughing too. So
Okay,
it doesn't,
here
it
it
doesn't
is.
help.
Experience Kawaiicore like never before with Lucrecia EP. Join Suki, Frankie, and Forrest on an unforgettable musical journey, redefining the genre with captivating melodies and epic storytelling.
Hey.
Bing, bada, boom, baby.
And then I have one other one. This is the one that I had.
We changed it though.
I had to change it, but this was the original draft of what I wrote on the other part of the CD. Kawaii invasion warning. Unauthorized duplication of the CD may trigger the summoning of Suki, the Kawaiicore idol, who will unleash a whirlwind of cute yet fierce pastel-colored chaos upon you. Brace yourself for an onslaught of irresistible charm, where every note carries the power to melt hearts and spark dance frenzies. Proceed with caution or prepare to be swept away by the adorably unstoppable force that is Suki.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just so happy. I'm like, yeah, okay, I know actually where I have it. I have it I always like rough draft it also in my Gmail too. So I always have it in drafts. But yeah.
It's worth the wait.
Certified fresh and rotten tomatoes.
A dick spoon, suck it.
Fantastic. Great.
Hey, we
ambitious
had
start.
the biggest pop off in the world when I did. Can I get a hell yeah? Hell yeah. So like people know us for our wrestling references.
Yeah.
So I
Hell
might
yeah.
as well commit.
Commit, exactly. Just be like, and from the left corner.
Yeah.
Franki and
Ding ding
Suki.
ding 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 ding.
Love that
Yeah,
shit.
Suki guns.
Collab with father.
Suki marksman rifles. Ready to take out skinwalkers left and right by the thousands.
Coming soon to Modern Warfare 3.
Oh my gosh, I wish. My dream is to definitely be. I want to be in Fortnite or something for sure. Our guitarist Daisuke wrote 2 or 3 songs for Fortnite.
Wait, let's
Really?
talk about our
Yeah,
talk
I'm
about that afterwards.
serious. And I'm hoping I'm next. So wish me luck, everybody.
I mean, as long as it has some KDA energy behind it, I'm sure they'll love it.
I know the guy kind of connected him, so I'm really crossing my fingers, but
We're manifesting it. Kawaiicore on the charts, taking over your good old Fortnite Halloween this 2020 or something.
2028.
yeah, he made like a couple
28.
emails. If I could be an emo, I'll be happy.
Fair enough.
Real.
That's pretty close to Western idolization. So there you go. So I think now we should go ahead and jump over to the track listing for Meyneth, because I'm sure there are plenty of stories to be told with this, whether it be upon how the collaborations happened or the lyrical context itself, the lyrical contents. So we start with new types. This is an interlude. There's also some parts. Well, it's not an interlude. It's an intro song, but there are definitely lyrics on it. It's got a little bit of dubstep and some heavy electronic elements.
Yes.
So what is going on? What is going on?
So that's
what
Toki
happened?
is our good friend that we met through Daisuke. He's an electronic EDM artist, and he wrote that song for us because we wanted to collaborate with him. He's collaborated with me a couple times. And so we have, we wanted to do something with him for our stuff. We've been on his songs, and we wanted to be on our songs.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we decided to do this after.
And we met him here in America, by the way. He was studying in SF. Where?
Yeah, SF. Yeah.
Where was he studying?
I don't remember, but
I think it was the San Francisco Art Institute. Like, I really think it was that.
Yeah. I think so.
But yeah, we met him here in California in person. And so then he moved back to Japan.
Yeah.
But yeah, he wrote that song, and he's, really cool.
Yeah, when we wrote it, we kind of had an idea because Shinji had asked Suki to do.
Shinji, aka Toki, sorry.
Toki, sorry, yeah. She asked Toki to ask her to record a few songs a few years ago. And when she recorded the songs for him, because he was a fan of our music, because he was friends with Daisuke from Pale Dust that was in Lucrecia or is in Lucrecia. So when she recorded the song with them, we asked if he'd be interested in like doing a song with us. And the one thing that's like really cool about Japanese people when you're working with them is they kind of have like this like pay it back, pay it forward kind of mentality. So they'll ask you to do them a favor, and they'll be really accommodating to you. It's not like they're just like, yo, do me this favor. Like they'll actually do the favor, but they'll accommodate you. But on the same tip, that because you accommodated them and you helped them out, they'll always do you a solid. So both of our features with both Kaito and
It's like an anime friendship. Like, honestly.
Both of our features with Kaito and Toki were both kind of like this.
Like,
really
we don't
funny.
even have to talk, but we just have like this mutual respect and hard work ethic, like hardworking ethic.
Yeah, so
they're like the easiest to work with.
Yeah, so he was just instantly down. And Toki, like us, is also an otaku. He's really into Gundam.
And J-Rock too.
Yeah, and J-Rock too. But yeah, he happens to be really into Gundam. And when we were thinking of the idea for Meyneth, our intro track, we thought of a song, about Gundam. Me and Suki both big fans of Gundam. Mainly like the Universal Century Gundam and a lot of like the ideas and concepts like it puts forth about humans and stuff like that. So we came up with the idea of writing a song called New Types, which, if you're not familiar with Gundam, is like not necessarily like a specific race of people, but it's more like a higher evolved version of
it's like
humans
humanity's next evolution.
Yeah, pretty much.
And their world.
By pretty much, by pretty much ascending to space. Like by going to space, they unlocked a new part of their brain, pretty much that humans weren't using before because it just didn't work down here.
Like animals, they'll create, eventually, like, you have these new traits or whatever, right? Then they evolve. But based on your situation or circumstance or whatever. So in space, in this guy's mind, that he wrote it in the 70s, by the way.
Cool.
He believed that we would ascend to these kind of like beings that would be extremely empathetic, and they can feel other people's feelings and pain and sorrow and love and joy. And so it creates a deeper understanding of each other within a second.
Yeah, so when we came up with the idea for this, we had thought about kind of like our song Brotherhood in a way, where we had this concept or idea about humans kind of like understanding each other, even though we naturally kind of have a disconnect, depending whether you're from a different place, a different like background, different social standing. People can always find ways to feel different and like ostracize each other.
Because they're isolated in their own mind. So to break free from those chains, the belief is that if you were to have these things, that we can actually finally be
one, essentially, because one
and kind,
because people would be able to understand each other on a more deeper level, where you wouldn't need things like me telling you my story or
there's no miscommunication about
you can just feel it, like
there's just and everything is true and legit, so like it's just like there's no in between middle ground where there's lying, deceit. I mean, it's just like all you're feeling this other person like it's your own.
So it's like there's a lot of transparency.
It's really beautiful, honestly. It's like one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life.
So when we made New Types, we kind of thought of this idea of there's a specific Gundam movie that we based the lyrics and the part from. It's this movie called Char's Counterattack, which was like a really prolific movie in the anime world and the Gundam universe, because
famous of all time.
Wrapped up the initial story that they created in the initial Gundam,
like 30 years after or something.
Gundam, the thing about Gundam that's kind of interesting is that, unlike stories like Dragon Ball Z, where you have like the same character over and over again, each Gundam, because it's throughout history, it's like Star Wars or Star Trek. I guess closer to like Star Trek, where each Star Trek is like a different cast, different characters in a different period of time, but in the same timeline.
Right.
So in this movie, Char's Counterattack, they kind of wrapped up the story of the initial main character and the main rival from the original Gundam, and this main rival.
And it took like 25 years to.
No, it came out like 10. It came out 10 years later.
Oh,
it was like 10 years, yeah, because it came out
in
like
the 80s.
Yeah, like 1989 or something like that. Yeah, or like early 90s.
Oh wow!
But it was still a while after. It was still a while after.
Honestly, like 1999 or 2000.
No, it was still pretty early because it was at the end of like 80s anime.
But people were hanging on a thread. Okay,
yeah.
People were waiting many years. That's all I'm trying to say.
So in the film, the rival of the main character, he feels jaded by humans because in the context of the story, he started out as a bad guy, learned the error of his ways, and then tried to turn over a new leaf and be a good guy and try to be a resistance leader and try to teach people like why they should abandon Earth because of all the things that are happening there and just the way people are treated.
Destroying it.
There's a lot of
it's a
nuance.
Yeah.
But pretty much that they shouldn't stay there. And regardless of how much he showed them the truth, like people still were resistant to change. And because of that, it made him jaded that people would never change, that people would just always repeat the cycle and just always be the same.
You just have these two characters that want the same goal, but one tried this way and it's not working, and the other one tried this way and he believes in this way. And in reality, they all want the same thing, but because they believe that their way is the only way to get to that point, that's why they're at odds.
But essentially, like I was saying, that the one character is jaded. So Suki's first lyrical lines in the song New Types is a quote from this character. His name is Shar. And it pretty much talks about how he wants humanity to change, but he doesn't know if they ever will, or when it will happen, or if it ever will. And essentially is giving up. And in the context of the story, the character, he's trying to forcibly make people change by dropping a space colony onto Earth. And
which will decimate.
Yeah, it'll destroy Earth, so then people can't live there anymore. But the main character says,
because they were destroying Earth too, on top of it.
Yeah, and doing war and all kinds of crazy stuff, human stuff. But the main character, he's
human stuff.
He's a good guy, naturally like a good guy, and he believes himself in the will of humans and the ability of humans to change and kind of grow. And says that it's a lot. Essentially, tells the main character or the main rival that it's a lot easier to just assume shit's gonna always be shitty and not try to make a difference versus actually
the harder path. He thinks
taking the harder path and trying to deal with the hard change, but keep pushing forward so that change can happen.
Yeah.
And so that line that I scream after Suki says her stuff, the "I'll believe in the light of the human heart," is a line that he says is his final line before the character mysteriously dies. Like it's not. It doesn't say that he necessarily dies,
well,
but it's inferred
they both die
within the context of the story. But he makes this ultimate sacrifice, showing that even though people may be complacent, like I'm willing to bet my life on them and sacrifice everything so that they can keep pushing forward and hopefully change. And it was a really inspiring scene.
Yeah, he dies stopping the colony.
Yeah,
from dropping
really,
on
really
Earth.
cool.
Like he's literally holding it with his Gundam, and just it's so terrible, honestly, because I really love Amado, but it's inspirational at the same time because he truly believes that, killing people and doing that way is not the way. Although he does understand Char a little bit, but it's just complicated. It's complex. That's the whole point. It's just not easy. And there's no really right answer sometimes, but yeah.
But yeah, so when we wrote that song, we kind of had this idea of something similar to New Types, but kind of saying that, although people are resistant to change, that we still believe that people can keep growing, can keep being better. And,
well, it's easy to say, well, how about I just kill everyone?
Yeah.
That's the easy path because we're tired of people doing wrong, terrible things. The harder path is fighting against that and trying to stay in the light. Yeah. That's the hard path because, I don't have to explain it, but
I think that a lot of people, it's the characters. I think in similar way, like when you think about characters like Guts and Griffith, they're kind of polarizing in the sense where even though they believe the same things, their ways of going about things are very different. But as a human and someone who's struggled, anybody who's ever struggled with that kind of feeling where you think people suck, but you want the world to be a good place, you can kind of relate in that sense because it's like they said, it's hard.
I relate to both.
It's hard. It's always hard to always maintain the high road and always take the high road.
Because you just wonder, is it ever going to change? You honestly wonder, these people aren't going to change.
Yeah, they keep being crap.
These people are never going to change. They're going to continue killing each other for land and money and power. And we're suffering, the civilians, all the innocents are going to suffer forever because humans will never change. War never changes, So I understand the feeling that Char had. I understand how Char felt because I think a lot of humans have felt that way before if they care. But the right thing to do is to not kill people. So, no matter what, you try to not drop a colony on Earth.
Ultimately, what we were writing about was kind of just always sticking true and persevering to what you ultimately believe in and not kind of falling down that path of taking the easier route just because it's easier and, not as hard and may not be as taxing on your soul, but,
Yeah.
It's just short song, but remember, I also made an anime for this. I just don't have the budget for it yet.
Yeah, not yet, but the Lucrecia Patreon, bro. That's probably what's going to be that budget. That's probably going to bring that budget in.
And then that Patreon could really help.
Exactly. Track 2. I mean, this is the track that really, really started it all for you guys. Is heavy JoJo's Bizarre Adventures references and stuff, the poses, the choreography, the visuals, but most importantly, just musically speaking, Such a great song.
Thank you.
Lyrically speaking, what is the story behind Sleeping Slaves of Fate?
Yeah, do you want to go or do you want me to go? Or...
Yeah, go ahead. I'll just add something.
Okay. So
It's pretty
Sleeping
straightforward.
Slaves of Fate, like you said, is about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Part 5.
More specifically, the fifth part, very similar to the way Gundam is. JoJo's on that same kind of tip. It's like an epic. So each season, it follows a different member of the Joestar family and their overall history from like 1860 to now.
And
so
they're
it's like
Italian gangsters, which I love.
so there's a lot of story, but this specific one, like Suki said, focuses on Italian gangsters. And in the premise of the story, the actual literal story, the main character's name is Giorno. He's a thug. He's like a gangster. But even though he's a gangster, he has like a lot of rules and moral codes, which they kind of based on like the romanticized version of a mafioso.
Yeah.
It's very romanticized, but you know, he's still a good guy, even though he's a thug. Like he beats people's asses.
He does some bad
He
things.
commits
He
crimes, he
kinda
robs
walks-
people and shit.
He walks the border, but overall, he is a good person.
Yeah, and so he has very, very a hard line on what he thinks is good and bad. And the main gang that is in his area where he's from, is selling drugs to kids and stuff like that. And he thinks preying on kids pretty much is hella bad. He's like, nah, fuck
Yeah,
that.
he like sees like a few kids that are like very young, and you know, like one of them, I don't remember, like
they're like addicted to heroin and stuff. It was fucked
they're
up.
addicted, and he sees it, and he's just like, you know, devastated because, yeah, obviously it's just messed up. Obviously.
So he in his heart makes a promise to himself that he's going to take this gang down by pretty much
by being within it too.
Yeah, by joining the gang and then essentially making his way all the way to the top of the gang and usurping the leader of the gang.
Become the leader himself.
But the issue with the gang is that no one knows who this leader is. So the story is kind of like a mystery. So in a way, he has to, once he infiltrates the gang, he makes friends with people within the gang and gets them ultimately to defect too, to take on this boss that a lot of people are afraid of. And during
he sells his dream like hella hard to these people. Like, and they're ride or die.
So throughout the story, you see Giorno go through a bunch of trials, battles, and stuff like that with this group of friends. And one thing that's very common in JoJo that you'll see in a lot of like more seinen, which is like older manga for older people, like 17 and older, is there'll be a lot more not like you'll still see death in like anime and stuff like that, like shounen.
Main characters,
but it's like a lot more. It's like a lot more out of nowhere, and it's a lot more real. So you'll see a lot of people like that are part of his gang fall throughout the story. But Giorno, even though these people die, he always talks about how their spirit is always with them, always pushing him forward. And various things will happen throughout the story that I won't give away, but that help him defeat this guy. Like there's a part where the ghost of one of his friends helps push an item that he's trying to get to him so he can get it before the boss. And all these various things, like kind of like what you were talking about, or like Suki was also talking about with the Anime Expo, where it can start out as something very small, like a dream or an idea, and that idea can snowball and get bigger and pull in other people and motivate those people. And your
to do the right thing too.
Yeah, and your dream becomes.
He also motivated them to do the right thing.
Yeah, ultimately making his dream stronger and just able to, you know, just like cut that path to his dream and where he needs to go.
And he had unwavering determination, which was inspirational to a lot of these people too. And he always was willing to sacrifice his body, and he would literally get his arm broken, ribs broken, punctured lung, like, you know, like messed up, and he would still continue to fight until he gets to that point where he can change things for good.
Yeah. So
while carrying the pain of losing his, you know, best friends, his family, basically.
Yeah.
But
it was very like emotional, like
yeah, it's really, really good. It's one of my most favorite
like
stories.
Homies, like come on homies, like,
but yeah, so
and I love Journal so much, like like I want to be like that, but I'm not, because he's quiet and cool and I'm like not
silent gangster.
yeah, very silent thug type, but so
and just like pure, but like I don't know. You just gotta watch it. Like it's just so cool.
It's
just
one of those that I have yet to watch. So
Araki writes these characters throughout the story like just so well. You feel like you're there with them and you love them just as much as like if they're real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I see a lot of myself in these characters as well. He makes them very real, and the story is just really cool too. I just think it's one of the best manga animes of all time is JoJo, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, wrapping up the last part of the song, using that story or idea like Suki was talking about JoJo, we kind of use that as a way to personify like our journey within Lucrecia, because at that point many people didn't know the story or like the lore or like what we had done so far as a band. But even though everybody else didn't know, we know that we started out as just like Suki and then me, and then we had Daisuke, and we had a build up and then we had a fall and a build up and a fall, and there were people that were with us that helped help us write songs, people that helped us like promote shows, like various people that have helped us along the way.
And Daisuke said, just the reason why he joined us is because like he felt the same way that they felt when Giorno led them. He just said that he could feel that we have like a fire within us.
Yeah.
And we are, of course, loyal to him as well. But besides that we have just that heart, and like that drew him to us. And the reason why he joined us was because of that. And a lot of people say that, Forrest has said the same thing. Like the reason why he also joined us is because like he sees the dream, he sees our dream, and it's just it unites people and like inspires people, and it makes them believe that it can happen.
Yeah. And to sum that up, pretty much that like she was saying, that pretty much every person who's been a part of Lucrecia, who's helped us or felt that dream, whether they're here now or not, that us reaching our end game, they're still there with us. They're still part of, even people who've passed away, like my brother or friends, like I said,
and we're bringing them there to the victory line. Like we're carrying them on our backs to that place, and they can be proud of us. Like if they're not here, they're still proud of us. If they're here,
even like I said, if they were a part of us, they know that they were a part of the reason why this has made it this far. That it's not just all us, that it's a collective effort from all the people that believed in this dream or wanted to push this dream forward.
So if I may ask too, like many times when you look at a song at face value, and then you have these deeper contexts that not only have ties to you as people, but it's also inspired by other art that other people have made, and the plots, the narratives that occur inside of those fictional narratives, right? Mm-hmm. Why did you end up naming it Sleeping Slaves of Fate?
Oh, okay. So
it's always hard to name songs. I want to put that out there because
actually this was one that I had since day one, though. I will tell you that I had this one since day one.
I always like we're pretty like, it's so important. I feel like naming something. I don't know. I'm very like I'm like very critical of that. So we take a lot of time and consideration to try to feel like what feels like the right name.
Yeah, there was a few songs on the EP that we had trouble with, but Sleeping Slaves, I'd say, was one that was pretty easy. In the story of JoJo, this idea of Sleeping Slaves of Fate is like the all-encompassing theme of the story. So like the concept that I was talking about how even though people aren't here that were in the band, like for example, like our old guitarist Jacob, who was in a lot of our videos, or Daisuke, or any person that was with us before that isn't here now, or even like people that believed in us, like I said, my brother, that that the idea of Sleeping Slaves of Fate is that every person that exists in the world is a sleeping slave of fate, that we are not aware of the path that we're supposed to take in life. And because of that, it's almost like I said, that we're a slave of fate. We're like it literally says, a sleeping slave of fate. Like we're dictating the path that we have to go down. But in JoJo, Giorno was able to, similar to Guts, is able to break outside that causality.
Yes.
By changing fate, by doing things that in the story weren't supposed to happen, but because he was able to pull certain people together and get them on a path that wasn't preordained, that he was able to break this cycle. And the idea of Sleeping Slaves of Fate is pretty much, like I said, that us breaking outside that, doing what we need to do to achieve our dreams and get to that goal, and that like we won't be shackled down by this shit.
In the very last chapter of JoJo Part 5, they question, are we sleeping slaves of fate?
Yeah,
Oh.
because they preface. It's kind of weird because the Sleeping Slaves of Fate chapter.
It's cool because in
Is-
English it has alliteration.
Yeah, it's much cooler in
Sleeping
English.
slaves. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
I thought it sounded cool too, but yeah, the chapter itself is a prequel chapter to the ending. It's like weird. They have the ending, and then they have this one last chapter, the prequel, and they pretty much break down that all the characters' deaths were predetermined in some way, shape, or form. But by Giorno leading them on this path, he was able to either A, keep some of them alive that weren't supposed to die, and as well as change how some of them were supposed to die, make some of them, you know, be more heroic than they maybe would have died if they would have just kept being a regular criminal or something like that.
And it's just like the philosophical question, like they're asking, like, are we sleeping slaves of fate, or, you know, like
that's actually really
question
clever.
at the end.
Right,
Yeah.
because I mean, it's very, very specific in the way that it just flows as a song name. It just always intrigued me. I'm like, what does that mean?
It
must
stuck
be
out as a
joke.
line, man. It stuck out. Like when we read that line, because we read the manga first.
Yes.
It just, it stuck
just
out
popped,
because in English it was translated so well, and we read fan translations of it, and the fan translations are always better, honestly, to be honest, because they're just not cheaply made. They're made with passion and care, and they're translated Japanese, which is very difficult to translate, and coincidentally also is alliteration, which I love.
Yeah.
And it just rolled off the tongue, so we're like, oh yeah.
Yep. So yeah, that's how we got the name Sleeping Slaves of Fate.
And I named JoJo Part 5 song, and JoJo Part 5 song doesn't sound quite good, so.
Yeah.
But Araki is just an amazing writer, you know. It actually doesn't take much. Like, honestly, I could probably grab 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, 9 song names from JoJo Part 5, and they'd all be amazing because Araki is, you know, a poet.
Yeah.
You know, like, I would say also like Berserk. You know,
Yes. Oh, dude.
he's a poet as well, and I can easily grab so many names from his manga specifically, not the anime, the manga. Like, it'd be easy. Some writers are just so beautifully eloquent.
Yes.
You know, so I don't want to take credit for it because really it's Araki. Like,
Yeah,
he's the one who.
We borrowed it.
Yeah.
But we just saw the beauty in it. You know,
Yeah,
that's all. The only difference is we just saw the beauty in everything that he wrote and did, and he puts a lot of similar energy and love into his works as us. So
Yes,
you know, it just
exactly.
makes sense.
Like, obviously, most art, most music today is in reference to another piece of art or music.
Oh yeah, there's
I mean,
nothing original technically.
Yeah. One of my favorite examples recently is this band that another one that I've hosted on the show. They've also skyrocketed since we first hosted them.
Well, that's amazing.
Yes. Their name is Disembodied Tyrant. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with them, but they're definitely making the rounds right now.
Disembodied Tyrant?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll look them up.
Yeah.
So let's just say the
Probably
concluding,
Disembodied something.
the concluding
But I
track
don't
on their
remember.
newest EP, The Poetic Ada, which is in split with the band called Synestia. I'm pretty sure it is in reference to a Mozart song. It's like that da 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 da.
Oh, I think I know what song you're talking about.
So they
I played
this
violin,
dude,
so I should know it.
this dude managed to turn it into deathcore, and
Oh,
it's
that's
Oh,
so
yeah, we like a couple bands that did
wow.
that cool shit, actually.
Yes, and I was like, hey, I see you. That's Mozart.
Yeah.
So
I played classical violin, and he played jazz. So like, I love like that kind of stuff. That's why I gravitated towards prog.
yeah,
Yes.
that's fair.
Yeah.
So
So that's really cool. We'll check them out.
yeah, track 3 we have Mementos. Now I think to make the questionnaire or like the specific things we're looking for a little bit more direct, right? First, I would want to ask, like, where'd you get the song name? And then if it is in reference to a narrative, what are the major plots or the major plot devices that connect it to this song by Lucrecia?
Okay.
This one's like kind of easier because although Persona is, you know, still got its deep moments, it's not as deep in my opinion as JoJo.
Right.
So basically, we love this game series called Persona, and specifically, we played Part 5, Persona 5, and in that game, because they're all kind of different and how they do things. The characters were called thieves, phantom thieves, and they are able to somehow enter people's hearts.
They're subconscious, essentially.
Wherever you want to determine what that is, but basically where you can change who they are from a bad person to a good person. They enter into their hearts and they enter to what's called a palace, but basically that just means like you can think of it like a maze or just, you know,
It's a
domain expansion
of their mind.
yeah, it's like got a lot of security. It's got, you know, it's not going to walk in and you're going to do something. Well, actually, if they are lower level bad guys, they do have very easy. You just walk up to them and you can change their heart. But we're talking about very, very bad people, like major CEOs or like evil, like guarded people that have done a lot of evil in the world. You know, you can enter into their palace, which is their mind or their heart, whatever you believe in, which is obviously the mind, but, you know, sure. And you can, you know, beat them up and forcibly make them change their heart.
Yes.
And when they come to the next day, they are literally a completely different person, and they literally, for example, go up to a podium and will say, "I am sorry, I've done so many bad things," and they're really genuinely upset with themselves. Like, it's real. It's not a lying politician, and because they can actually change their hearts.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I think that's really awesome, and I want to do that in real life. And I wish I had that ability, because I totally would do it. I feel like that's the only way to truly make someone change, like, kind of in that sense. But yeah, Mementos is the world that you can enter. Yeah, that's the alternate world. It's called Mementos. And that's where you can enter into these palaces and change the hearts of these evil people. And it is a permanent change. It's a permanent change, and it's real, genuine.
Okay. So
and yeah, it's just freaking awesome. Like, I love it.
But yeah, so the way it relates to the song as far as lyrical content goes is that when we wrote the song, we I used to play in a band called Plagues of the Armada. We were like more of like a political based like technical deathcore band.
Okay.
And
Get water, I'll be right back.
Okay, for sure. So I've always been kind of think it's important for people to speak out, you know, against things that are wrong, injustices, things like that.
Yeah.
But one of the problems that I had with my old band is I felt that I felt like a lot of the times when I'd write lyrics for that band, it was like too like bookwormy, or it was like a lot of like facts and statistics, and not really.
Which was cool for tech.
Yeah, it was still cool for what it was, but it wasn't like, I feel like it's not as palatable or digestible. So I wanted to write something in the same kind of veins where we spoke out against our opinion on injustices, but in a way that related to, you know, like otaku culture and stuff like that. And at the time, we just finished Persona 5. Right. So pretty much we used the idea of mementos and this and changing people's hearts as a way to kind of personify the way we felt about people out there that treat people poorly and subjugate people or manipulate people or use people and do, you know, just heinous things against other people, and kind of telling, you know, these people fuck off pretty much.
Yeah. So if anything, Mementos can easily be a reference to Persona 5, but then it goes full circle into saying, man, it's such a cool narrative element. We wish we could make this a real life thing, but until then, we'll just make it into a really catchy metalcore song with the fun.
Yeah. Well, it's like essentially like a call out song for bad people, but we're using the narrative of Persona 5 to kind of get our feelings across.
Yeah, like a lot of the lyrics, you know, they're real, like, feelings that we have, you know.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
You know, it's just like, it's hard. Like the Gundam route, you know, the Gundam route is like, okay, they become a new type and you can change humanity. Or this imaginary world, you can change their heart. Basically, it's just humans are like hard to change. And my fantasy is often like these things, like I wish that I could do more.
Yeah.
As an individual.
And that's fair.
I feel like powerless, and I feel like I can't change anything, you know, like genuinely change them, not just no fake apology type thing.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's I actually really like that, because it fulfills the Lucrecia formula genre radically, but then it also kind of digs deeper into a more vulnerable spot of your soul where you're like, I wish I could do more, but people are really complicated.
Exactly.
They can be really strange. So instead, let's kind of like throw hints out into the world of like what our morale is like.
I want to back it up, and I want to stick true to it. And also, I want to pay homage to these things that
Inspires
make me
you.
feel better too. And also, I have a good time playing the game, and I like the music. And overall, it's a good game. But I'm just saying, like I really resonate with the idea of being able to change someone's heart because like I said, you can't just go around killing people, and it's really complicated. And I feel there's a lot of layers, but basically, it seems like you understand pretty much. Sorry, Frankie, you want to keep going?
No, that's pretty much it.
I just want to make sure that I am transparent because the lyrics. Nobody talks about the lyrics actually.
Yeah.
That's where we come in.
I want time to actually talk about it, so I want to make sure that I'm transparent, and then who knows, what if people really resonate with what we're saying?
Exactly.
I want to change the world too. Of course I do. I wish I could go in the hearts and change it, but the best thing I could do is make music.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean,
that's my calling.
Yeah, sometimes too, like the same way, I think, kind of speaking upon this and like my interpretations upon it, my kind of deep dive into kind of surreal, but still yet realism. I think to movies like Wonder Woman 84, where you have a very realistic world, but then you have a guy who manages to basically grant wishes. Same thing with Wish, really.
But I think great movie Wish Master.
Yeah. The Disney
Wish. No, Wish is a different one, right?
Yes. Well, I'm comparing them because of like basically the consequences, the what if consequences of a world where there is a wish granting. I forgot the MacGuffin, something like that. It is the device that allows for wish granting to happen in the first place. But
okay.
So like, thinking about a wish granting device, and then kind of bringing that into, I wish I could go into like the palaces of people's minds and their hearts and change them for good. I think back to the consequences and the bad things that ended up occurring in Wonder Woman 84 or Wish, when basically people think beyond just one wish or two wishes, or in Wonder Woman 84, where basically this one dude happens to have the ability, when he gets enough money, to give anybody in the world a wish that they want. This could be billionaires. This could be world leaders. Half of them wish that they could just throw nukes at other countries. And you see throughout the entirety of that movie how bad it would be, or how bad it possibly could be.
Granting people their desires.
Yes. Yeah. So I think full circle back to Meyneth, of course, with these elements. It's like, of course, wishful thinking. But unfortunately, with like me being 24 now and me being like having this realism kind of swimming in the back of my head, I'm like, I mean, that would be cool. But if you could make a permanent change to someone's heart, who's to say there isn't a bad person who disguises themselves as good, goes into people's palaces?
Funny thing that happens in the game. He kills people. That person literally kills people. But but the thieves, because they have to defend.
It's only one guy though, at least.
Yeah, but you're right though. There is some.
And there's 5 or 6 good people, so technically it still is good.
May I ask if
I actually like that character because he actually he's a little complicated. He's not so just a bad guy, right? I don't want to throw him under the bus. I like him.
Fair enough.
He was just had a shitty, it's like Char. He just thought he was, he's just misguided.
You had a question?
Oh, I think I lost track of the question actually.
It's okay.
No, okay, I remembered it, and this also works because it references a Smash. Is the bad character who goes into people's palaces and infiltrates their minds and all this other stuff, does bad things. Is that Joker, or is Joker?
He's a good
guy. He's the main character.
He's the main goodie. He's a good boy.
Yeah, he doesn't kill anybody. He just wants to change people just for the better, so that they can confess to their own crimes and go about it the proper way. But it's his rival though. It's Joker's rival though. So Joker's rival in the story is the bad guy.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should definitely move on because I mean we're halfway through the EP. There's plenty.
Okay, we're making good progress.
Totally.
Yeah.
sitting on all my pillows.
Track 4, we have the architect. Same
And
question.
here he is.
Oh, there's Joker. Definitely does not look like Joaquin Phoenix. He's a little bit more handsome.
Yeah,
Featuring
he's a
Joaquin
good
Phoenix.
boy, and he's fully clothed. I have like the most innocent body pillows you've ever seen.
Right, what about
No
that?
nude ones. I know, but I just wanted to make sure I show off my Joker body pillow. The bad guy's name, I don't want to know if I want to spoil it.
No,
But...
spoil
No,
it.
don't.
No, it's just
Okay, I won't. But I actually like him though, so.
I just smacked my finger on my table. That hurt. Track 4, we have the architect. What is this in reference to? Why is it named the architect, and how does it correlate with the creative mindset and just, you know, kind of the philosophy of what you guys were thinking of and going through at the time of writing this song?
I'll say something brief actually.
okay.
So similarly to the other ones, you know, it is based off of a JRPG, a Japanese RPG, like Persona. It's one of the best games I've ever played in my life, actually, and I cried many times playing this game. It has the most beautiful music I've ever heard in my life.
Sweet.
The story is beautiful. The characters are beautiful. And I knew we had to write a song about it. Like, I was determined to write a song about it. So I want to pay homage to it. But, you know, it has similar themes, like, you know, there's a crew of people. But this one has a little bit more of a plot twist. I don't want to spoil it for everyone. But yeah, I'll let you continue. I just want to say that, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the song kind of relates to the overarching themes of the climax of the story, where kind of like similar to what Suki was saying. A group of people wind up on this planet where there are two gods that they live on like bugs, essentially.
They literally live on giant beings.
Whatever.
It's like super crazy.
But
It's really cool though. Like literally when you travel on the map, you're like going from the foot to the chest, and it's like hilarious. But it's like also really cool.
So
Cool.
So you're pretty
They're
much
really huge. You're like on Jupiter basically. You're on a Jupiter planet, but you are on a smaller being on a Jupiter planet. So it's kind of crazy, kind of abstract and weird, but yeah.
Yeah.
But so you're kind of like on these two
Mechonis and Bionis.
these gods, and on each god essentially there
Who
are two different
Meyneth is
races.
from, by the way. I want to
There's
say
two
Meyneth
different
is from there.
races of people. One of like regular like human descent, and then this other one that's like a biomech, kind of like the Borg, kind of, I guess, in a way. Like they're
Yeah, if you
robots,
go
but they're also
Borg.
human-like, and they've been like warring for a long time. And throughout the story, there's like a lot of plot twists, and you find out trying to uncover the reason and the lore behind why these gods and why these people are fighting. And you ultimately find out that one of the gods in specific has control of like the entire universe and
Reality.
and essentially
He literally can start reality however he wants.
yeah, so he essentially will destroy reality after a certain amount of time and then recreate it again, because I guess he says that a certain amount of time that people start rebelling against him and stuff like that. And so these people, they feel that it's unfair that they don't have a choice in whether they live or die, that they pretty much are like on this predetermined like path towards death. And so the characters, similar to like the JoJo one, decide to defy destiny and fight this god and defeat the god. And in turn, the main character finds out that he is actually a personification of this god, and that he can, essentially do the same thing, that he can also create his own world and stuff like that. And so the idea within the lyrics of Architect and how this relates was more so being like snubbed or like pushed down or oppressed by somebody bigger than you. Not necessarily physically, it could be anything. It could be somebody that has more power, more push. It could be somebody like somebody in the scene, somebody online, just somebody that generally is like shoves their fucking weight around for the most part. And kind of not yielding to that and persevering and always overcoming no matter what, essentially. Like the same kind of ideals. Because like I said, we have this like reoccurring theme of like constantly persevering.
And like overcoming fate and overcoming like literally a lyric like we have this like little segment that plays in our live show that plays right before the song. And
it's like a soundbite from the game.
Yeah, it's Shulk talking to my character. He's also in Smash, if you know Smash. And he says, if I wanted to walk the predetermined path, what's after that?
He said I wouldn't have come this far.
Yeah, if I wanted to walk the predetermined path, I wouldn't have come this far. You know, and yeah, that game is just full of everything. So like, yeah, it's just pretty easy.
It's funny because actually I quoted that lyric actually in the song. That lyric is actually in the song too. But yeah, so pretty much that regardless of what comes our way, we'll always find a way to persevere and keep pushing forward. And no matter who, and we've dealt like we try not to talk about people that we dealt with that are shitty before, but we most definitely dealt with our fair share of shitty people. Whether it's people trying to take advantage of us as managers, people that try to throw like record deals at us that were like shitty as fuck in my opinion. People that have tried to just within the scene try to control our band or try to minimize our push or like stop our push. And just random, just like annoying stuff like that, so to speak. Like again, we don't normally speak on this stuff, but we deal with it, and it comes out a little bit through the music, and it in a way was kind of letting people know, like the people that said "fuck your anime style" or all this silly stuff like that. That we're gonna keep going, we're gonna keep pushing, and like that's not gonna stop us, and we'll overcome, and we'll show those people that thought they had their thumb on us that we're really the ones on top, and that we're gonna keep persevering, keep striding higher and higher and higher.
I got one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, go for it.
I have something that links it to also to me and Frankie as human beings. Me and Frankie came from like a pretty hard childhood, and for example, I was in foster care and stuff like that, and I constantly had kind of to overcome a lot of these struggles on my own. So in my way, I know it's like linked with us directly as well. It's not just the game. It's like we resonate with these things because we've had to do it ourselves many times. Yeah. And I want to mention that because there might be somebody out there that also has similar background. But yeah, we are directly linked to overcoming situations and obstacles that even as a kid I had no choice in. I had no choice in the matter, but you keep going, you keep fighting, and you keep, fighting for your dream because you believe in it and you want it and you want to make the world a better place and all that. And that's pretty much Shulk. Like he wants to make the world a better place and everything. Yeah. Sure. And he had to overcome a lot of terrible things himself. So that's probably a common theme with us because, unfortunately it's just really like deep within our roots as children. Difficulties that we've had to endure and overcome and make it to where we are today.
Yeah, naturally.
But that's pretty much Xenoblade, honestly.
Cool. Track 5, we have Chapter Black with Tom Barber. Both of Chelsea Grin and Darko. As basically it seems that all of these tracks, like you guys said at the very beginning, but for the sake of confirming, and that's kind of what we did throughout this Under the Skin segment in this session of the Anatomy Podcast. It seems that Meyneth, it provides a theme of triumph.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I was trying to say. Like, we do have very common themes with that because it's really important and deeply embedded in us. So, and that's why you resonate with anime and games a lot because in anime and games, like people often have to overcome really terrible circumstances. Some of them lost everything. Like, so that's kind of like a common theme, honestly. So
right. So then Chapter Black, featuring Tom Barber of Chelsea Grin and Darko. What is Chapter Black meant to tell about triumph? Like, what are we triumphing, like being triumphant through or for in this song specifically?
I was inspired by Yu Hakusho, which is one of my favorite animes of all time, and one of the first animes I've seen as a kid. And this episode, the character watches this tape of, so it's a magical tape, and it has all of human monstrosities and atrocities on it somehow. It's a magical tape, and yes, it's VHS. They didn't have DVDs yet. It's made in a long time ago. This anime's old. But yeah, you know, when the kid is talking about it, he's like 16 or 15 years old, and you know, he's crying. The main character Yusuke says, "Why did you join the demons, bro? They're the bad guys." And he's like, you know, crying. He's like shaking. He's like, "You need to see this tape. You need to see this fucking tape of humans doing these terrible things, not only to other humans, but to other demons too, like, you know, raping and killing." Okay. And you know, he just felt very conflicted and confused, and I just felt really bad for him. And that episode like really resonated with me and Frankie. It made us like very emotional, I'd say. For me, sure. I don't know if it made you emotional, but for me, it made me really emotional.
I felt bad for the character. I wouldn't necessarily say emotional, but I felt what the character was saying.
I felt emotional because, you know, thinking of everything that humans done, it's really terrible, and a lot of innocents die without a chance at having any kind of decent life, you know? Like, you could think of Vietnam War, and you could think of all the innocents that were raped and killed, and, you know, not to drop the hard R, but, you know, it's true. And yeah, it's just like reality. I wanted to make sure that we wrote something that kind of really put it in people's faces, like, I don't know, try to like put it in their face, I guess, and make them feel like confront these things.
So in a way, to answer your question directly, that I would say out of all the songs, this song is actually like the polarizing opposite of Tramp. It actually is like one of the few songs. I think the last two songs are the only ones that are kind of have that kind of feel. Like Suki was saying, Chapter Black, it was actually the first song we wrote off Meyneth, actually.
Oh shit.
Yeah, when we first started demoing out songs, it had kind of a different kind of vibe. It had more of like a tech deathcore kind of vibe.
Yeah.
We wanted to go for this more dissonant kind of ugly kind of vibe once we kind of came up with this idea.
And you want the lyrics to match.
But the idea within the Chapter Black, like you were saying, is that it's this tape that chronologizes like all these terrible things humans have done. And the superstition within and lore within Yu Hakusho is that anybody who watches this tape, no matter how pure the soul, will be tainted and eventually have a black soul, because they're not necessarily corrupted by what they see, but they more so have like an awakening and a realization of how terrible humans can truly be. And this character that was in Yu Hakusho, the main character is the spirit detective. The person that was his predecessor had seen this tape and had gone mad and went pretty much, like she said, fully to the bad side.
And he realized that the people he was fighting for, because he was on the human side, he was like a human, like he was on the like Yusuke, like a detective on the human side or whatever. He realized that humans were doing the same things that they're trying to fight against.
Yeah, so essentially that all humans.
And he's
were
kind of felt
shitty.
tricked. He felt tricked because he's like fighting for humans, but then they're doing the same thing to demons. Just because they're demons doesn't mean you start doing all these evil things to them, you know, things like that.
So in a way, it would kind of be like the antithesis to a lot of the songs that we have, where in the sense where it's more so actually about giving in to more like innate desires of like anger and things like that, and realizing not so much like kind of like one of those, like there's a lot of characters like this in anime, but like just one that like most people know just off the rip because everybody's seen this movie was like Thanos in the Avengers movies, not so much in the comics, but the movies where he had this whole ideology.
There's a different like written characters.
Yeah, that his whole ideology that life in general, not necessarily just human life, because he is an alien, is purposeless because everyone's gonna die, everyone sucks, and that, you know, it just doesn't really matter anyway. And so we kind of had that same kind of mentality where we kind of visualized ourselves as the main character's name is Sensui, where we were somebody like Sensui who had seen this tape and the feelings that we would feel after viewing this tape and how we wouldn't want humanity to generally just really exist anymore. And it's more so like not things that we generally feel, because I don't ever want anybody to get hurt or anything like that. But I feel like I said, when you think about us as humans, that everybody at a certain point has felt hella angry where they've been like, fuck this person, like I just want to beat this person's ass. or and you just want to genuinely give in to these feelings.
Yeah, like Hitler or somebody like really bad.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, beat up Hitler. Yeah, we can beat up Hitler. But just in general though. But like everyone's felt rage before and it's felt anger, and it's more so about like recognizing that people are bad and kind of indulging those ideas, but not really indulging into it.
And imagine seeing like something like a piece of something where you literally see everything that humanity's done on a large scale, like all these wars. I'm talking about all the way from like since humans were walking on 2 legs, caveman. Like you've seen every single
era.
Yeah, bipedal era. He said bipedal era.
Yeah, bipedal era is when they got bad, huh?
Yeah.
But like imagine seeing that and you're just like, God damn, like what the hell? Like we're horrible. We're terrible. I mean, how could you do these things to innocent people and continue about your day? You're just confused. You're like,
and in a weird way, it comes from the perspective of somebody who is genuinely like empathetic, because you feel for the people that are suffering. Because the song is about people that take advantage of other people. Like
you're angry about it. You're like the Punisher.
Yeah,
like we're like the Punisher.
Yeah, that's kind of a much better way. Yeah, so because like there's a song, there's a line in the song, it's like right before the Tom Barber line. It's like.
And Tom Barber wrote his lyrics based off what we told him it's about.
He fucks with Yu Hakusho too, so it's
but I think he wrote it first. Cool. Oh yeah, he wrote his part before we recorded it, I thought.
Yeah, he said he just watched Yu Hakusho and then wrote it out.
He actually wrote his part before he ever heard our parts.
Yeah, which was pretty cool.
It wasn't recorded yet.
Damn.
But he said
I feel like he got the vibe.
Yeah, he said he fucks with Yu Hakusho, so he got it. But
yeah, he likes anime a lot, actually, in games.
But I kind of lost my train of thought a little bit, but pretty much just to sum it up.
I thought that was really cool.
Okay.
I just wanted to mention, like, he wrote that before hearing our version. I just think, like, he hit the nail on the head.
I feel it. But yeah, so kind of like I said, comes from the perspective of somebody who genuinely feels, oh yeah, the line. Oh yeah, okay. So there's no. So there's this line that pretty much like, that I think kind of sums up like the overall feelings of somebody who's seen much. It's like Suki and I have this line right before. It's like the breakdown before Tom Barber's breakdown. It's have you ever witnessed death camps full of frightened masses with fearful tear-stained eyes marching in line to their demise? Cavalrymen with galloping horses crushing the innocent under the weight of their unbearable malice. So it's pretty much just like about a bunch of like hateful things that humans do.
Back of my neck.
Hateful things that humans do that make people that are good people, that are empathetic people, feel these same kind of feelings of rage, I guess, is a good way to describe it. And just like kind of like the helplessness that you feel.
Yeah, like see another one, a monstrous bomb wiping away millions of faces who've never once held a weapon. Okay? Just like,
you're muted again.
Oh.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah, I told you I'll do that.
Could you guys hear us still, or were we muted too?
Yeah. You're good.
Okay, yeah, but yeah, so
that's like my favorite lines, actually.
Mine too, actually.
Of all time, almost. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
So pretty much that's what it's about. It's about kind of like that polarizing opposite of persevering and triumph, and just kind of like giving in for the sake of just getting rid of all that bad stuff that's out there. But yeah, it's kind of like that. It's more like a fantasy song. It isn't really much of our true selves and like the things we feel, but I'd say that
humans are dynamic. They have multi-layers. Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say too. But, when you feel angry,
just because you feel that way doesn't mean you're evil. You just want the right thing for humans.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of how I'd sum it up. It's an interesting one. It's very different than what we normally write.
Care about.
Yeah,
the innocents in war. The innocents in war that are always just shit on.
Yeah.
All the time, right now. You could talk about the Israeli-Palestinian war right now. Innocents who's dragged into the shit.
Yeah, but so pretty much that's the general gist of what that song is about, and the type of feelings that we're trying to get off our chest.
Like, fuck the politicians. All I care about is the innocent people. I don't care about these evil assholes that stand, far away from the battle and direct people to do their dirty work for them. I'm talking about the innocent people that's always trapped in this cycle of fucking war. Every time, over and over again.
Yeah. And most importantly, too, what I'm kind of recognizing with Chapter Black, the way that you guys placed this in the EP, it's like, we're very triumphant. But
because that's what I'm saying. I'm human. I got lots of things going on.
The last two songs, they're the ones that, like I said, are the only ones that don't like. They're still about anime, but they're the ones that don't have like that whole like Lucrecia triumphant overcome kind of feeling. They're the two ones that are the out of pocket ones, but I think they serve their purpose though.
They do. They really do, because you can only be so naively triumphant, ambitious,
Yeah,
and wanting
you
to
have
just
these
win
moments.
all the time. You can
Yeah, we
only
all
do
have those
so
moments.
We all
long.
have these moments where like, man, like these evil people are just really getting under my skin. I wish I could just erase them like Thanos. You know, but that's a fantasy again, another fantasy. I live in Fantasyland apparently. But yeah, you know, anger, like the anger I feel when I see these things, or like when I see animals abused or children abused. I'm talking about every day I see things on the news all over the place. I'm just saying, like, this is all my feelings, like, put into this song, the anger I feel all the time. I feel the other side too, but I also feel anger.
This is your tsundere moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tsundere art.
I'm literally tsundere to a T. Like first they're sour, then they're sweet. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
I-
Well,
I-
chapter.
I think they made it like they must have studied me or something, and they made the tsundere. I swear to God.
Like this one right here. This one right here.
Get her. We need to study her for the tsundere formula.
Like, what the heck? They're describing me to a T.
Track
Sometimes
6.
I just want to beat people up, and sometimes
Yeah.
you know I want to take the higher road. It depends.
Yeah.
It depends on the person.
I mean, I'd like to think that the right people all think on that same level. They want to be optimistic. They want to have that silver lining. But eventually, like good old Guts, or maybe even Luffy from
Yeah,
One, you know, they
it's called being human, and it's hard. All right,
yes.
it's difficult, especially if you care about things.
Yeah. When you have a soul that complicates things.
Yeah,
Most definitely. Most
and I'm a very
definitely.
passionate person. Exactly.
That's why Lucrecia sounds as good as it does. So
I hope so. No one talks about the lyrics, so I'm glad we're talking about it. I'm about to put this all over our Instagram.
Yeah.
hell yeah.
I'm serious. Nobody ever asked me. I'm waiting every day. I'm like, somebody come up to me, ask me about these lyrics. They mean so much to me. Like, there's a message, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah. So I'm definitely gonna use these clips.
And I appreciate an artist and a musician, a lyricist who has so much substance to their work, because that's what this podcast is supposed to be based upon. Not we just thought the band name was like super cool. There's not really many meaning behind
I'm
it.
like half and
But-
half. I think it sounds cool, and then there's like also a deep 20-minute long discussion, which you have found out right today
Yeah.
That's what we're
about
here.
every decision I've ever made.
Four. So track 6, this is definitely a sadder one. This is
Finale.
definitely, a heavier one, but like nonetheless, I think it's why it's such a compelling finale. It's such a perfect finale to the EP. It's like this is like what we got for now, but we're gonna make you cry before you finish this EP.
I hope so.
Like a twist, I was forever by your side. These days begin to burn.
I wanted to make
Yeah.
people cry with this. Actually, I tried I actually like deliberately wanted to make sure I made people cry, but in a good way, you know.
Yeah, I
In
know.
a good way.
I don't know if you guys saw my reaction, but I think I did during the song. It was hard. It was hard to listen to. I could feel your pain coming through. And the thing is, like on a more personal level, we dealt with the death in the extended family very recently, similar circumstances. So like listening to this song again tonight, I'm not sure if you guys could tell while we were listening to it, but like I couldn't even really just like bop my head around. We were just kind of thinking back upon that because it wasn't too long ago that this occurred.
Yeah.
So now we have
And what's wrong, anyways? It feels like yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's the time is like warped.
Yeah.
You know, it feels like yesterday these things happen. That's why when people tell me 1 year ago, 2 days ago, I mean, it's just all like still feels like it's fresh.
Yeah.
We played a show with Unprocessed a few weeks ago in San Francisco, and I've done this recently a couple of times at our shows because lately I've been trying to talk about the song before I perform it, because I'm trying to make sure I reach people that might have had something like this happen to them.
Yeah.
And so that they, maybe just connect with it a little bit more. And I've had a few people come up to me since I've started doing that and say that, hey, I lost so and so, or I lost my dad, I lost my brother, terrible things. And they said that, I started tearing up, or I started crying, or each of their stories are different, but in a good way, they're trying to tell me though that they felt like seen.
Yes.
You
felt acknowledged.
Yeah, I felt like like I'm holding their hand, kind of thing.
Yeah.
We're holding their hand. So yeah, lately I've been talking about Jonathan's death and how coincidentally, like, we wrote originally about this, but then it kind of blossomed into another thing, which was like we lost Jonathan. Yeah, it was like originally just about a movie, which still sucked because it's based off a biography, anyways.
Yeah.
True story.
There was some purpose behind it before.
Well, losing people, but I never lost anyone like that before. I lost extended family members, but I don't have family.
Right.
So I didn't know these people that died very well. I was sad, but I didn't know them very well. Like, Frankie's lost quite a few people that are close to him, unfortunately. So Frankie has actual experience with this before Jonathan passed away. But I am an empathetic person, and, I watched a movie, and I told Frankie to watch the movie, but I didn't tell him what it was about. I just said, oh, it's another Ghibli movie, and, like, tricked him. And, yeah, it's another Ghibli, Princess Mononoke, Howl's Moving Castle. Ooh, it's going to be innocent and fun. And, yeah, I know, but I didn't want to tell him because I wanted him to feel it 100%, like I felt it, like raw, like,
Yeah.
you care the most.
You suffer as I will suffer.
Yes, you'll care about it. You'll care about it. You'll feel for the characters. And then, like I said, this is based off a biography. He really lost his little sister. She died of starvation, pretty much malnourishment. And it's based off a true story in World War II Japan. Like, after we fucking bombed them, like, there's other sides to these things, and, like, I wanted to share that with the world. And war sucks, is my point, and there's always going to be innocents that have nothing to do with it that suffer. And so that's why we originally wrote it. But yeah, sorry.
Not entirely. So the original reason I wrote it was Suki showed me the movie a few years ago, actually like a while ago. So when we wrote
it was like 8 years ago.
Yeah, it was like 8 years ago when I
we haven't seen it, by the way.
It was like 7 years ago or something.
We haven't seen Grave of the Fireflies yet.
Oh, okay. I won't spoil it. But you should watch it. It's really, really good. So when I saw them film, it was really sad, but it moved me a lot.
I usually don't tell even that much, so you're lucky.
It moved me a lot. Like, I cried, genuinely, but I found a really, really, really deep love and enamorment for the film, despite it being so sad. There is some.
That's the purpose of it.
There's some happy elements to the film in the ending, but not necessarily. It can be. It just depends on how you perceive it. But I think overall, most people perceive it as a nice ending, even though the ending is sad. But with that being said, though, it outside of the ideas of, like, war and, like, the literal things that are happening in the film, it kind of shows you, first off, the bonds of love, mainly familial love, obviously, but it shows you the bonds of love and how far people are willing to go for each other. And then also the pain that you feel when you lose somebody, when somebody dies. And like Suki was saying, my mom committed suicide when I was like 17. So I've lost, my fair share amount of people, and I've lost a lot of other people too that I care about. But I'm very familiar with, like, like the pain of losing somebody and, like, what it genuinely feels like to have someone you really truly care about just be gone forever. Yeah. And when she showed me that movie, it really touched me. Like, the main character's name is Seita, but the love that Seita has for his sister in the film was just so moving.
And we're both older siblings too. Like, we both are the oldest in our family.
Yeah, I'm sure you feel it.
So we have understanding of what it's like to be the older sibling, to take care of them, protect them, and make sure they're okay, and the love that you can have for that sibling,
Yeah, but so it really touched me, and so I felt that, like, when we were going over songs, like when we write just write in general, we will come up with initial ideas for songs, like concepts, like this song's gonna be a heavy song, this one's gonna be a soft song, this song's gonna be this, that, or the other. And our soft song, we didn't have an idea for what we were going to write about yet. And like I said, all of our songs are generally based on something that, you know, we find endearing.
Well, I have lots of inspiration.
Yeah,
you know?
so we kind of like will
I find
bounce.
inspiration in lots of things.
Yeah, so we'll bounce ideas and stuff like that. And I brought up Grave of the Fireflies because I thought that I had already written a song about my mom passing when we first started. This song called Antipathy and Dismay. It was about Hunter x Hunter and about a character that dies in Hunter x Hunter, and I personified the feelings that this character feels in more so directed
It all
towards my
comes
mom.
from real life situations, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wanted to write another song about it. Not so much about my mom herself, but more so like the feelings that you have when someone you love dies. So like Suki said, so that other people that go through those types of things can find solace in the song. So it was interesting because like Suki said, she's never actually at that time had lost somebody that she cared about.
That was
So-
close to me. I mean,
Yeah, that was close to her.
Like,
so,
really close.
So, but because she's empathetic, she was able to take a lot of the feelings from the movie and then take a lot of the things that I told her that I wanted to write about and the way that the things that I took from the film, and was able to personify those into the lyrics. Out of all the songs, so and as a side note, on a lot of the songs, like the way we write lyrics is kind of back and forth. Like I'll do a lot of work and then she'll do a lot of
Oh,
work.
right, like our whole version. Like,
Yeah, it's like 3 pages
like,
long,
you
some
know,
crazy
a
shit.
long section, and he'll write his own long section.
Yeah, and then we'll kind of
and we'll
amalgamate
pick
them
the
together.
best lyrics out of them, and
And try to find the voice or like the
Yeah.
idea, and then amalgamate them, and then revise as necessary, so that it becomes one
we
cohesive
cherry
thought.
pick, and yeah.
But with Grave of the Fireflies, it was kind of different because Suki, because of the complex aspect of like writing singing sections, I kind of just leave that up to her because I don't really have any knowledge or skill or, you know, any kind of training when it comes to clean singing. So I just assumed that, you know, being a knowledgeable and you know, well-seasoned musician, that she could do this on her own. So I kind of just conveyed like the thoughts and ideas and feelings that I had felt about this situation, and she kind of just like put it forth there on the paper, even though she'd never really felt those things. And so we recorded the song and stuff like that. And when we were making Meyneth, we had come up with the whole like video release strategy thing, and kind of decided that we were going to release stuff in like episodically, essentially, or like singles. And Grave of the Fireflies was one of the ones we were going to put out somewhere in the middle, kind of balance out Mementos, because Mementos was pretty heavy, and we wanted to keep a good balance. And somewhere around that time, in 2021, like right after we had released, either right after we released Mementos or right before we released Mementos, I think it was right after.
It was a couple of days before my birthday.
Yeah, okay, so it was after my brother.
September 20.
Yeah, in September. Yeah,
6th.
because we released Mementos in April.
Yeah.
My brother ended up passing away from the fentanyl overdose or
Yeah,
fentanyl poisoning.
It was really hard.
And,
to keep on track.
So we, you know, we put together a funeral for him because my family, my brother, he's from Utah, so he's from a couple states over. So we put a funeral together for him here in the Bay Area, and when we did that, you know, people have to give speeches and do stuff like that, and like priest gives a sermon, and then people do all kinds
And
of
it cost $10,000
various things.
and everything.
but pretty much one of the things that we decided that we thought would be kind of nice was when my Lolo, that's grandpa in Filipino, when he passed away, my cousin, she sang a song that he really liked a lot, this Frank Sinatra song that he liked a lot, and dedicated to him, and it was really, really nice. And so I wanted to do something like that for my brother, so I asked Suki and like everybody in Lucrecia if they would be open to doing like an unplugged version of Grave of the Fireflies, you know, at his funeral. So, and we'd never played the song yet before either. So everybody agreed to it because my brother was one of our biggest supporters, like from day one. He'd always supported us, came to all our shows, would drive down from Utah with friends of his in his car to come to our shows, and like just like ridiculous stuff like that. So we felt it was really important to like try to show as much love and respect as we could to him, not just for being my brother, but just for just being always just being there. So we played the song, and it was really, really hard. Suki, she'll probably talk about it, but she had to sing it. It was pretty rough. It was pretty rough feeling inside, but it gave us a lot of freedom afterwards, I'd say. Like we felt really free. And then after that, the song kind of shaped its own form into becoming the song that encapsulated a lot of the feelings that we all felt about my brother passing. And even though Suki never had felt these feelings before due to her not experiencing the death of somebody close, that the very song that she had wrote about a made up person became about my brother, and all the things fit. And so from there, it just kind of has been about him. So we've kind of made the shift and focus still being about, if you have somebody that you've lost, we know what it feels like, but now it's a lot more concrete. It's not just, me losing my mom, it's all of us losing somebody we all care about, and kind of carrying that. But
he lived with us. He was like, my little brother in a separated way, not as much as Frankie. Frankie grew up with him, but of course, because that's, his actual brother, like blood. And so Frankie, I probably don't hold a candle to how Frankie feels, and that's okay. I accept that. That's no problem for me. But it was the closest thing I had to losing someone that, especially because she was so young. It's still hard for me to accept. But so now when I try to dedicate that song every time I'm live to him. And I've had a lot of people come up to me after the show and say, that touched me. I was tearing up. I was crying, whatever. I'm not trying to make people cry, but they just, I hope that they feel the same way I feel. And that's more so, like I said, that I'm holding their hand. And a few weeks ago, my girlfriend came up to me, my friend. She said, oh, this month is the 1 year anniversary of my dad dying. So it especially kind of hit me hard, but she didn't mean it in a bad way. She just said, I know what she meant. Without words, like, I knew what she meant. So kind of crazy how this song originally was about this movie, but in real life story. It's
yeah. So, but yeah, it was kind of crazy how the whole thing kind of happened, but I'm happy that we were able to, write that song for the CD, because when the time came for it, it really, like, it didn't really have a voice, I'd say, or like, it didn't really have, like, it had a purpose, but not really a purpose. But then once my brother passed, I felt like its true purpose really showed itself. Like, it revealed itself to us almost in a way.
Yeah, I felt like kind of sickeningly like that. Bittersweet.
Yeah.
It was very bittersweet. But yeah, I just tell people I hope that it helps bring them solace.
Yeah. I think what would be really, really, really important is, to those who may be listening to this podcast session right now, let's just kind of give a moment of silence to, like, what is a very, very bad epidemic going on across the country right now. And with that moment of silence, I think one thing I'm going to look into is making sure that there are, like, various hotlines and stuff in the description for this podcast session, because I mean, this session, this podcast, this show is meant to get as deep as possible, but also not, like, trespass boundaries of human psychology and make anybody uncomfortable. But this is unfortunately a big issue right now. And I remember when this song first came out, I felt bad enough. I felt bad enough for you guys that you guys dealt with the loss that you did. But then you hear all the stories. You see these folks who are actively doing fentanyl on the streets, and they're folded over. It is such a sad thing to see, to witness, and then to understand that people are making profit off of this, and that innocent people are getting mixed into it, and now we have a personal tether to it.
It's crazy how there's people out there that are surviving doing fentanyl, and then, but I'm not comparing at all. I'm just saying that it's crazy how people are out there doing actively fentanyl, and then not surviving, but they have been able to do it a few times at least. And then there's some people that had it laced in a pill and they're instantly fucking dead.
Yeah.
And it's just like this, like, wide range of pain and sorrow. People actively addicted to it. People poisoned. because it's laced. And we also had a friend, unfortunately, a friend, his brother. I think it's important to mention because you never know. And we are friendly with 420, but I'm just saying that his brother had it laced with fentanyl, and like, what the heck, you know? You're not even making money off of that one.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy how wide the range is. It's like really terrible, and then that's why we want to make sure we did that video. And we were actually trying to do some grandiose stuff, which I still regret this, but it was just impossible. We wanted to have interviews with people who experienced the same thing as us, where we actually talked to a few people, like there's, 16-year-old daughter or whatever, it doesn't matter who, but, they bought some pills off somebody, and then he was laced with fentanyl and only took 10 minutes, and she's dead on the floor. A 16-year-old girl never either did pills before or never did pills before. It doesn't matter. The fact is that it was like no chance.
Yeah.
And we wanted to do this interview style, like who did that?
Yeah, so we were inspired. So just on a side note real quick.
I think it's important to talk about.
Yeah, no, I
this,
forgot about
right?
that actually. That was actually kind of
I think this
crazy.
is really important,
So
suicide. They were talking about suicide.
Yeah, we were inspired by this old Good Charlotte video called Hold On.
Good Charlotte. I was a big fan growing up as a little girl. And yes, they had this beautiful video. And it is horrible, but I'm saying beautiful that they did this. And they had these interviews of parents and
survivors
lovers
and all kinds of people.
Talking about, and they hold a picture up of the person they lost. And they talk about them. And at the time, fentanyl was so demonized, man. And it doesn't matter if people are addicted to it or not, but they're just totally assuming that every single person is some fentanyl addict. They deserve it. And I was like, these are all kinds of people. These are regular people. These are people that you love, I love. And it's not always, and it's still terrible that they're doing fentanyl. I'm not saying nothing about them, but I'm saying laced fentanyl, specifically. Yeah. They're unaware of it, and they're demonizing them like they're not human beings. So it was very important for me and Frankie at the time to get people to understand, because I had so many hateful comments. Talking about, oh, well, he shouldn't have been addicted. I say, he didn't do fentanyl. He did Xanax, okay? I'm not saying that's any better. I'm just saying that that's messed up. And he didn't know. He wouldn't have done it. He obviously, he's not even interested in that. He just wants to do Xannies. That was his problem. That's what we try to fight every day with him, We try to help him every day. It was horrible. But anyways, besides that, it was an addiction to Xanax. And it was laced. I mean, it was terrible. And he's a human being, and he's a nice person. I just wanted to show these people the way that Good Charlotte showed.
Yeah, by humanizing these people.
Yeah,
And
showing them
that,
their story.
Yeah, because sadly,
he loves skateboarding. That's why we showed all those clips of him at the end. All those clips. Look at him.
I mean, I've
being silly, being funny.
Yeah, I can easily say from experience that I've been laced before, not with fentanyl.
Why that happened?
But I've been laced.
It's terrible when anything is laced.
Yeah,
because it takes you by surprise.
I am surprised that I got through it as well as I did. Whatever it was.
Me too.
Yeah, whatever it was, auditory hallucinations.
Oh Lord.
It was, dude. Hearing the devil laughing at me out in the desert when there's no one there, as if I'm in.
Now you're permanently scared of this. PTSD now. Maybe not you, but in general, a lot of people have PTSD.
Yeah. So it's.
And now you don't trust anything. It's just terrible.
Yeah, it's not right. So, I mean, if you guys want, we can definitely figure out something if you want, and if you want my help in that situation, because I'd be more than willing to do something like that. Work with you guys on that. Let's bring awareness to how bad this has been for a lot of people, including us.
Yeah.
I know the musician Jelly Roll, as silly as the name is, he went to court because he had family, he had relatives who died from fentanyl as well. And the worst part about it is like it is definitely imported not from here, like it's from faraway places, but they profit off of this kind of ambush substance that's coming in. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Keep your
they
shit out of
found pounds upon pounds upon pounds upon pounds upon pounds, which means if they found that many, then it's already distributed just as much.
Yeah.
You know, like it's
Exactly.
already on the streets. Like that's why I made all my friends, you know, because like I said, I have all kinds of friends. I have nerd friends. I have all kinds of friends. I know as long as you don't hurt anybody, I'm not going to tell you what to do. As long as you don't hurt anyone. I have friends that do like to dabble in things, and I tell them they have to have. I said, please have these backup things just in case. You know, like you don't care, but I care. You know, like just please have these in your backpack. Have the pen, whatever. Have a couple pens. Like, you know, please, if you're gonna do this, at least
Be
have
safe.
these things just in case.
Yeah.
They also we try to work with people like the distribute the testing strips, you know, so that they can test everything that they bought, you know, because you're not going to stop people from doing those things.
No.
The best thing you could do is at least give them the tools so that they can avoid being murdered.
Yeah.
You know, straight up murdered. You know, I'm not perfect. I drink beer. I smoke weed, truthfully. I mean, that doesn't mean you should just get killed for it. I mean,
No.
it's already bad enough you might be addicted to something, and then these people are taking advantage of them by making these cheap alternatives.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, whether it's knowingly or unknowingly consumed
yeah,
fentanyl, like it's unfair to not only
yeah,
the person
exactly.
who's consumed it, but their families and the people that they care about or the people
Yes.
who care about them. Like it's not fair the effect that such a little dose
Yes.
of something can have.
Yeah,
Like it can have such a big fucking effect. Whether it's knowingly or unknowingly consumed.
yeah.
It's
That's
not
my feeling too. It doesn't take a lot. Yeah, that's the terrible part. Exactly. I agree 100%. I mean,
it's terrifying.
it's got a lot. I mean, after we made that video, people are a lot more aware of it now, which is good, but bad because it means a lot more people died. But at the same time, it is good because we literally had mean comments and it was horrible.
Yeah.
Assuming what happened, assuming about these people, like demonizing them. And so that's why we were inspired by that video.
Yeah.
Because they portrayed him in this beautiful light, like that, you know, that little boy who took his life away. What was it, a week ago or so? He was only like 8 years old, but from bullying. I'm just saying, like, you know, and his family talked about him, held up his picture. That's how you get people to stop, hopefully, being pieces of crap. You know, like you could comment all these mean things, but then you're like, oh, he's just a sweet little boy. Like, he didn't deserve this. You know, look at him. And then they talk about his favorite things to do.
I think you guys might be muted again.
Sorry, go ahead. Oh, not yet. It's not working yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
Ah.
I'm gonna use the restroom really quick.
Okay.
I'll be back in 2 seconds. But you guys continue, okay?
Okay.
I talked a
Go on to the
lot.
rest of it real
I
fast.
talked a lot.
It's all good.
I mean, plenty of time for semi-truck drivers on the road. Plenty of stuff for them to listen to. So that's kind of it's one of many points. But, yeah, 4 hours.
4 hours.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so ready to go to bed.
If you want to, you can check out.
No.
It's not good. I have a flight I have to catch it at 5:30 in the morning tomorrow. So after this, I'm about to go do laundry and fucking pack all my shit and stuff.
Oh my God.
I also have to do laundry.
I already
Yeah.
did laundry. We're good to go. I did laundry during work. It's a very.
Yeah, I fucked up. I should have just started it earlier, but I was like, I'll just do it after the podcast. It'll be good. We'll be quick. It ain't gonna be that long. 4 hours later.
Maybe be like 2 hours.
Yeah, my
I'm
homie's
so
like waiting
sorry.
for me to play video games with him and stuff, but it's all good.
I
We're
really
good.
apologize.
I got till 5:30, so
I
as
really
long as I
apologize for all that.
get the laundry done in
No,
time.
you're
I'll
good.
go.
You're good. It's important that we talk about stuff like that, especially when it does correlate with the EP, short version.
Yeah, I
of
just
that.
want to use our platform for as much good as we can, because I told you I feel powerless. So like,
Yeah.
I feel like this is like the little things I can do that may not mean much, but who knows?
I heard that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, following right after Under the Skin, because that's basically Under the Skin of
that was
Meyneth.
basically under the skin, right?
Yeah, that was pretty under the skin.
That was under my heart, into my heart.
Yeah. No, that's how deep we
Hey, but
dig.
see, look,
That's how deep
people,
we deep.
That's how dig we dig.
connect, and then that's we show unity,
Yeah,
and we support each other.
exactly. So after conducting a lobotomy for Meyneth, and after us concluding the first half of the podcast session, we didn't really do that in the session, but like basically talking about Meyneth, what distinguishes Meyneth from other iconic records relevant to metalcore, or in this case, Kawaiicore, because that's a new coined subgenre. What do you think distinguishes Meyneth from other metalcore records coming out this year so far?
You want to go first? You want me to go? All right.
Oh, it's up to you.
No, it's all good. No. I was just trying to figure out who's going to lead, because we have to decide who's going to lead. I would say the thing about Meyneth that I think is different than a lot of other both metalcore and progressive metalcore bands is that you're going to hear a lot of different, not only just like the thematics of like the lyrics and like what the songs are generally about, but you're going to get a lot of like different musical textures that you wouldn't get generally with your average progressive metalcore band. I think that a lot of progressive metalcore bands these days play it relatively safe as far as like what they play and like where they walk, which is cool. Like I don't have any problem with that. There's a lot of bands that I feel are your more standard progressive metalcore band that I absolutely love.
Yeah, we like a lot of different kinds.
But I feel
stuff.
like with Meyneth that you're going to not only sonically get a lot of different styles from like Chapter Black to like heavier stuff like Chapter Black and Mementos to like really soft songs like Grave. You'll have different vocal stylings with songs that are primarily singing, songs that are a lot more in the realms of like the deathcore style, stuff that's just more so in the middle. And then even when it comes to like the lead work that you would hear in like a lot of progressive metal, you're gonna get a lot of different types of textures, the keys and melodies and things like that, and the types of feelings that they invoke within you, I think are going to be kind of different. And hopefully you as a listener will feel that, metaphorically speaking, feel full after you listen to it, or at least feel satiated to an extent, like you got something good and something that at least feels fresh. I would even say, like I said, not even just newer metalcore bands. I'd say as far as like just progressive metalcore goes in general, I feel that Lucrecia sonically stands out in a lot of ways, and you'll find a lot of things that you won't find with other bands that hopefully you'll enjoy. So that's what I think.
Suki, do you have a different answer?
Hold on, I'll be right back. My cats are fighting.
It's hard for me to talk about things like that. That's like I'm kind of like I don't know how to explain it. But all I know is that I don't know, it's kind of like a freak.
Maybe Meyneth is a Frankenstein EP of a metalcore EP.
I just like, for one, I know the technicality is already something that already is hard for people to kind of get on the bandwagon about, but
yeah,
as someone who appreciates lots of like complex melodies, and I've always really appreciated like when I played violin classical, and I even played fiddle, and I like exciting sounds. For me, like I feel like Lucrecia is exciting, and it's not boring at all, and it's got a lot going on, a lot of energy. So I don't know.
Oh my God!
I think that's a pretty good answer. I think that's a pretty good answer.
You hear these little guys?
Yeah.
I hope you don't hear them. It's one cat in particular. It's one girl. She's
a brat.
I found her in a box outside my house, in a Corona box, like the beer bottle box.
Oh.
And I think she was abused, so she has a lot of problems. But she's a sweetie girl with me, but she fights the other cats. So, but yeah. Anyways, Yeah, all I know is that for me, like, that's what I think is different is for one, my voice, because I sound ridiculous and and I sound the way I sound, and although I want to sound like Mariah Carey, it's not gonna happen. So you got the Suki sound, and it's a trademark.
It's great.
I don't particularly like it, but some people like it, so I'll just go with that. And then, you know, I'm really proud of cultivating like these songs because me and Frankie spent a lot of time guiding. You know, his name is Asher, guiding Asher into our vision. And there has been edits within the songs themselves, you know, that we have done, things that we wanted to change, and you know, everything has been kind of like what our heart envisions. So I feel like for me, that's how the best to explain it is that, you know, it's going to have lots of technicality and, you know, Luke Collins on the drums, who's one of the best drummers I've ever heard.
Yeah, seriously. Luke Holland is so good at what he does.
Yeah. And, you know, unfortunately, a lot of people have a hard time keeping up with Lucrecia drums because of that. You know, so it's been kind of a wild ride with drummers, but yeah, I'm really proud. We put a lot of like technicality into it, and I think if you're a musician that appreciates that or a person that appreciates technicality, that you'll appreciate Lucrecia. And then we also have some nice singing melodies to balance it out, I think.
Exactly.
Personally.
Sweet. And I think the last thing that I'm going to have you guys talk about before we go ahead and wrap up session tonight, as we are trekking upon 4 hours in the session compared
I'm so sorry.
No, no. Suki, you're
Because
fine.
you talked about the whole EP.
You're good. You're good. Honestly, I think
It was a Dr. Pepper strawberries and cream. I blame that.
I agree. I could
maybe. No, I honestly compared to our first session, which I think was only about 2 hours, maybe an hour.
That's still a long time.
That's not a long time for a semi-truck driver, I'll tell you what. Or someone who's
thank God. I like to hear that.
that's what I'm saying though. Like one of my podcast sessions that I did recently was like closer to 5 hours.
I listen to these things when I'm driving.
Exactly.
I have fun.
It's a way to pass the time, and especially like most recently,
and they're in depth.
When they're in depth, they keep you awake, they keep you stimulated. But not only that, but then you have the more like comedic moments in between where you kind of hear the soul kind of poke through those speakers, and you kind of feel like you're in the moment with them. Well, as long as you know this mic continues working the way it's supposed to be before I replace
I'll just
it.
go like this every time. And then you see the most replayed parts in the podcast.
Exactly.
And it's the joke ones.
Exactly. It's the more
those.
casual moments. It's the parts where you're not trying to be where I'm not trying to be fucking Keemstar.
It's gotta come on naturally, you know. Like
when I was in the backyard earlier today, I found a little plastic duck.
I have one too. Wait, hold on. I have one too.
I have no idea where it came from.
Wait. I have one. I keep in my bag. I have one that I keep in my bag, actually.
Y'all are going to connect through microplastic ducks and Dr. Pepper strawberries and cream.
Oh, shoot.
Dr. Pepper strawberries and cream.
Yeah, there's a difference.
Wait, I swear I have a Tapatio thing in here. So I have one
It's going
Tapatio.
to be like a quarter of yours.
One Tapatio.
One Tapatio.
One Tapatio, just in case emergency.
I used to have one of those too. It was like a little tiny glass bottle.
And then,
only in Cali.
Okay, are you ready? Are you ready? Look.
Yes.
Okay, look, I'm pulling it out. Okay, so you see, I'm not lying.
Oh my God.
Literally the same
It
exact
looks the
one.
Exact same.
I'm pretty sure these are the exact same duck. They are. What the fuck?
A friend gave this to me, and I keep it in my bag.
It's the same exact
I found it
size
on
too.
2 years. I kept it in my bag.
Who are you people? Why do you have the same size, same design, microplastic?
And then I have
duck
one
that's-
Digimon.
Oh, lit. We love Digimon. Well, I mean, I don't know Digimon, but it's pretty
Oh,
cool.
that's another one you got to get into.
Yeah, unfortunately, I got this issue.
I'm about to buy a
Getting
Digimon
off right now.
song.
Podcast is over. You're not uploading this clip.
But yes, that the baby duck is in my bag, and actually, for some reason, people keep giving me baby ducks. But I mean, I'm happy. I love them.
We love them.
I've gotten quite a few. I don't know over the years. For some reason, it's like they know. They're like, hey, she's got one baby duck. Now let's keep giving her more baby ducks.
I mean, I collect.
And they got bigger and bigger over time too.
Nice. Nice.
I have a
See?
from 1945.
This is meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a literal wheat penny that I found in like a wallet somewhere, and I'm like, yep, this is mine.
What kind of penny?
It's a wheat penny, like a 1945 wheat penny.
Weed?
Wheat.
No,
wheat
like,
instead of
like
like
it has
uh,
Oh!
instead of the Washington Monument.
Oh, the pieces of wheat.
yeah, no,
See that?
It has a strain of weed on it.
Oh,
no.
what kind of strain is it?
Alabama.
Indigo.
Alabama wheat. We gotta leave it on a happy note, okay?
We do. Gotta redeem it a little bit.
Yeah,
So-
I gotta make everybody feel better after all that terrible stuff.
The moment of silence in the hotline mention.
Moment of silence. Oh, you were not just laying on Joker. Oh, Kitty.
That
He
it
just
was.
tore it up, but it's okay. He's still okay. He's still alive.
Okay, well, at least Joker is still alive, as opposed to him being like, you know,
Not anymore.
You know why I got these scars?
Say goodnight, little high
It was a
schooler.
cat.
It's a damn cat.
It was a cat apartment. He tore holes in my sides. I never recovered that. No, Joker, no.
Oh, snap. The next song right there.
Flashback to fucking the party cannon session with the dude in the Christian Bale Batman
What
outfit.
party cannon?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I will never forget that night. Just this dude in a puffy ass Christian Bale Batman costume, and he's like sitting at the top of this apartment complex in downtown Nashville, just looking down at us. Like he's just like,
He was doing the
Batman.
interview like that?
yeah.
Oh, man. I can't compete with that.
Well, I mean, I'm planning on doing plenty of more live stuff because I got a Chrome what is it? I got a Chromebook, but I never figured out how to like make it like incorporate all the gear that I have. Because I mean, the mic and the Scarlet Focusrite, all this shit. Like
I got the Scarlet Focus right as well.
yeah, Vocalist 101, right? Vocals 101.
Yeah, that's my entry
So-
level.
Yeah, I need to upgrade because obviously I need to upgrade because I'm tired of this being the meme of the podcast, dudes.
What
but-
what microphone is it?
Sure SM7B.
Oh okay. Yeah, we
Yeah.
have an SSB too.
Yeah,
Well, we got the same setup.
we got the same setup.
I just don't use mine. I'm ashamed.
I don't want to use mine anymore, but I don't really have any other options. And this was like 1,200 collectively, I think.
No, I've seen people really work that mic setup. Maybe I don't know about the preamp stuff, but
Ooh, I'm just
yeah,
tired
I've
of
seen
it.
people make crispy sounds with the SM7B.
Oh yeah, I've made some pretty crispy sounds, but
Frankie's teaching me a little bit, but I don't know
Yeah.
much about sound. But possibly a preamp might. I don't know. Whatever. I give up already. I'm like, don't say
It's
anything
getting late.
more.
it's getting late for everybody
And I'll
involved.
get immortalized on the internet for saying something stupid.
Yeah. I need to get my flame.
So I think one way, the best way that we can
Just click on
conclude
the
this
fight.
is to kind of like peek into the future a little bit and discuss like what you guys have in store for the Lucrecia Club, like as far as discography, maybe tours and stuff, because you guys just got back from a tour. That's why we had a slight delay and we weren't able to
We
get
got
this.
quite a few of those.
What's up?
We got quite a few of all those, actually.
Oh hell yeah! Are y'all coming through Phoenix?
Yeah, November. Yeah, I'm pretty sure November.
Surprise!
We haven't announced the tour yet, so I
You're
can't say
the
who it's
first
with
to
or anything like
know.
that. But we have a bigger tour that we're doing as far as
Okay,
like, lengthwise for us.
American tour, yeah.
sweet, badass! I cannot wait to see you guys in November. That's going to be a great birthday present.
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
Oh snap! Exactly. Well,
Yeah, well, we'll see. We got recording. We
Oh,
got.
he's gonna ask
Oh,
me.
okay, okay. Fair enough. I can't
Oh, yeah.
hear. Oh, I can't hear. Okay.
Oh, okay. So yeah, what we got going on currently. So we're gonna be hitting the studio again pretty quick here to start recording the first like 3 songs that we plan on releasing of our new stuff pretty quick here.
Okay.
Hopefully our goal is to have that out by the tour that we were talking about in November. So hopefully we should have like the first batch of 3 to 6 songs ready for people to listen, and maybe 1 to 2, maybe 3 videos. We're still kind of waiting to see what people's responses on that and try to figure out the rate we're going to do videos. But outside of that, we have, as far as show wise goes, we have 3 shows in SoCal coming up in July. Kind of weird because you normally don't do that, but it's around Anime Expo, so there'll be a lot of people around. So we'll be playing at the 1720 warehouse with Jaluka, all the way from Japan. If you don't know them, they're really, really great. Oh, you do? Okay, yeah.
Japanese metal band that's really heavy.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're
Really
we're
cool.
gonna be playing with them on their very first. We're co-headlining with them on their very first California date, so we're pretty excited. I think they've only played like 1 or 2 other dates here in America.
Yeah, we're co-handling.
Yeah, so it's gonna be pretty cool. We're really hyped on that. And then we have a set at Anime Expo over Anime Expo weekend on the 4th, and then we're gonna be
You
doing.
should try to come.
And then we
I
have
will
another.
That's the best anime con of all time.
It's pretty fun. And then we have one more show on the 6th at an unspecified location with this J-pop DJ named May, which is gonna be pretty cool. Or me, my bad. And then aside from that, we have 2 tours coming up. One that's gonna be kind of far. We have one in October with our friends in Seidai from the Philippines. We're gonna be going to Southeast Asia for about a week and a half. Yeah, we'll be hitting the Philippines, Thailand, and Singapore. So that's gonna be pretty hype. Kind of get out there more and
Yeah,
check
we
out
had a
some
lot
other
of
countries.
people ask us when we're coming.
To specifically to the Philippines. Yeah, we have like a lot of Filipino fans. So I'm
we
pretty
have a
excited
lot
to
of
go there.
Malaysian fans too.
That too, yeah. So I'm pretty excited about doing that. And then in November we're gonna be coming back. I can't say what band it's with yet because we haven't been told to announce it because this is actually being done by our booking and management. But we have a tour that's gonna be not West Coast, but Western region. So pretty much from like Idaho to Texas, all the way over to California to the West Coast.
And then yours as well.
So yeah, so we should be hitting like Arizona. We know we're going through Texas, like Colorado, like Oregon.
We just can't say details, but we are playing that.
Yeah,
tour.
it'll be
That's all that matters.
yeah, and it'll be a majority of November. We'll be gone on the road from like the beginning of November to like the end of November. So it's gonna be a pretty chunky run. We haven't done a run like that since like our first run. But now that we have like solid like a booking agent, that was one of the things that we got since we started since we did the last podcast. So since we have a booking agent now, they're kind of trying to kind of move us into more touring and more performing like more often. So yeah, hopefully you'll be seeing us more. But yeah,
we've been working on this for a while now. So we've been working hard on doing bigger tours. So we've been talking about that for quite a while, but it's actually finally like getting into motion now.
It's coming into fruition. It's finally
yeah, exactly.
So I'm pretty happy about that.
So yeah, so you'll see us in November, and hopefully again, like I said, after that, you should see us more. They're trying to get us a tour, like realistically, hopefully one every season. So hopefully you'll be seeing us more often.
And honestly, I'm serious though. If you guys want to go to an anime con, Anime Expo, it's kind of like the best.
When is it again? You said the 4th?
It's 4th of July
Anime
weekend.
Expo is like July
yes,
3rd, 4th, 5th.
It's the
6th.
4th through the 6th. I looked it up already.
There's a pre-day.
It's in California, right?
Yeah.
No, day 0 is the 4th.
Okay, day 0 is the 4th, I guess.
Yeah, it's the 4th through the 6th.
And we play on something.
We play on the 4th, yeah.
But besides us, I'm just saying, if you want to go to like one of the best anime cons of all time, I would try.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, not only that, but like we had every intention of going out to the Anime Fest, but quite literally, there were so many things that were happening that exact weekend, whether it be.
What about this time?
But this time, you guys are getting priority because I want to go.
I'm just saying, you're gonna have more fun than just seeing me.
I'll be honest with you. If I were to choose a show out of those 3 shows, though, I must
we're
definitely
gonna go to anime.
pull up to the Jaluka one. That one's about to be fire, dude. I'm not gonna lie. That shit's about to be fucking fire.
That was the day before. They could go to all 3 of them.
That is possible.
Well, anyways, and maybe we can guest list you if you can only pay for one or the other.
Yeah.
We can't guest list you into Anime Expo, but we can maybe guest list you into Jaluka.
Okay.
Possibly. Like if you do want to do both because it's the same week and you're going to be traveling. So for me, I like to get as much as I can in 1 week.
Yeah.
We can ask. I haven't asked about it, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that would be fantastic, and what a thing to drop on the podcast. But that should be a really cool thing. If especially 2 months, like 2 months from now, we're gonna make it happen.
Yeah, a
I'm
little bit time, a little bit. And we can even give you suggestions on hotels.
yeah, exactly. I've been meaning to travel for a long time.
We've had many hotels down there now,
Yeah.
so we have a little bit. Now we know some.
All of our
around.
videos we shot in LA, so we're pretty familiar with LA now.
Fair
It
enough,
feels
yeah.
almost like a second home. I'll tell you that.
Hell yeah! And the thing is, too,
no, seriously, Anime Expo. I'm telling you,
Anime Expo,
like it's the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
fantastic. Well, I do think at 10:38 p.m.
Yeah,
the 20th of May.
I still gotta get ready for my flight. I gotta wash my clothes and pack now.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, it's just you'll be okay.
Yeah, we'll be okay. We'll all be fine.
You'll be
We'll be
okay.
fine.
You'll be
You're
okay.
fine. You're fine. You
I'm
got this,
driving,
like-
huh?
Yeah. Yeah, well, you got that strawberries and cream energy right now, dude.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah, I got kind of some energy from this drink.
Yo, they
but-
put a lot of sugar in that one too. Like
Mhm.
it's definitely high.
Well, in this one, if you're talking about the Dr. Pepper, yes, but in this one, no sugar actually, which is really nice.
I don't know what it was, but it had a bad aftertaste.
Yeah, probably the iron aftertaste. But I do believe
Metal.
yes,
I
metal.
have an iron deficiency.
Aluminum.
Anyways, so.
That
don't think that's what the
I
doctors
think
meant.
will be a great way for us to wrap up this iconic episode of the Anatomy Podcast. Lucrecia coming back after 3 years, man. 3 fucking years. Full circle after getting their first EP out. And now, the future is a lot more bright. It's a lot more prosperous. It's a lot more ambitious. And so therefore, just like the Great Eternal Music Machine, we got to keep cranking. But most importantly, gotta keep cranking, bro. But most importantly, we will most likely see these guys in July when they play over at Anime Expo, as well as for the Jaluka show. Chances are we'll be also booking for a studio opportunity over in LA around the same time, being that we have this in mind now. So a lot of good shit coming up. A lot of good shit. Thank you guys for your time. Thank you for
fucking see them.
go and see them, everybody. This is going to be amazing. This is going to be a story to tell.
And Juve.
It's going to be great. But we will see you guys all next time. Thank you for stopping by. And buenas noches. Konbanwa, Jane.
Konbanwa.
Konbanwa.